should reach out to the police. That's the way to make this a safer place.
Start the conversation and help stop crime. To learn the 5 things you can do, go to ncpc.org/preventviolentcrime. A message from the National Crime Prevention Council and the Bureau of Justice Assistance.
Earth Justice is a national legal nonprofit fighting to protect people's health, to preserve magnificent places and wildlife, and to combat climate change. Visit us at earthjustice.org. Earth Justice, because the earth needs a good lawyer.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Big truck accidents can cause life-changing injuries, and life-changing injuries deserve life-changing money. I know big truck wrecks, and I know how to fight those big insurance companies. If you've been hurt by a big truck, contact us at ritchielaw.com. I'm on top of it.
WCMC-FM HD1 Holly Springs.
It's a new year. Right now, we feel like is where we're building that confidence. Right now is where we feel like it's imperative for over these next few weeks over the preseason. That's where we build the confidence to feel like heading into week 1. Right now, that's what it's all about, is making sure we can try to stack good days. We can try and stack good meetings, have the conversation we need to build that confidence. And whatever happened last year, that doesn't entitle us to anything, and we all embrace that.
It is the Adam Gold Show. What's going on, everybody? I'm Adam Gold. Max Gorin in the hot seat today. Guess what, Max? It's a Friday, and we have to start with, breaking news? LeBron James, the white puff of smoke emanated from his house, and he will be a Philadelphia 76er. I'm excited for that. I'm not a Sixers fan by any stretch of the imagination, although I will tell you that when I became an NBA fan in my early days, the first NBA team I loved was the 76ers because I was a New York Nets fan when they were in the ABA, and I was a Dr. J guy. By far, well, I shouldn't say my favorite because Bernard King is my favorite NBA player of all time. But Julius Erving was the guy that spoke to me first. And he went to Philadelphia, and I became a Sixers fan. And then I became a Knicks fan because I grew up in the New York area, and I'm kind of milquetoast to all of it now. I'm more of a fan of players. I am a fan of LeBron James, and I think it is awesome that he is going to see if he can't bring an NBA championship to the Philadelphia 76ers. We're going to talk about this with our friend Nata Edwards coming up in less than 10 minutes. But this just came down moments ago, maybe 10 minutes ago, is when the news broke. Sham Charania from ESPN. I don't know if he was the one who broke it or not, but that's how actually I saw it. My son sent me a text before I saw the news, but obviously he got it from somewhere. But
11:30 this morning, so about half an hour ago.
Quick thoughts on LeBron? I love it.
Yeah, Philadelphia, for my money, is the favorites in the East. They could pick up Jaylen Brown and LeBron and add that to Embiid and Maxey and Edgecombe. They still need to, I think, maybe pick up another piece for the bench because I don't know how they're looking
backup center
depth-wise, but I mean, that starting 5 is as good as any, not only in the East, but I would say pretty much in the entire league.
Oh, there's no question. I think their starting 5 is probably the best in the league, right? But what you can expect from Joel Embiid, I mean, is anybody's guess. You just throw your hands up, right? We really do not know. The whole thing for the Sixers is to figure out a way as best you can, if it's even possible, to make sure that when you get to May, let's say May because you're going to make the playoffs, right? When you get to May, that Embiid is operable, that he's operational in May, because even without him, unless you find a good, legitimate, it doesn't have to be great. He's got to be great at one thing. He's got to be great at either offense or defense, preferably defense, right? You must get another option in the middle because Embiid is he's going to break down. He always does. You've got to manage him for 6 months and hope that Embiid can help you in the playoffs, because if Embiid is good, and you won't need nearly as much out of him now, you won't need him to be great offensively, even though that's the best part of his game. You've got Maxey, you've got Edgecombe, you've got Brown, you've got LeBron. I mean, that will be insane as long as Embiid is healthy.
Oh, yeah. You know what's crazy? You know who signed the same contract as LeBron James this offseason?
Who?
Jack Rosovic.
Well,
2 years, $8 million.
2 years, $8 million. That, by the way, you'll appreciate this. The Athletic has done their best 10 and worst 10 contracts in the NHL. The Hurricanes have nobody on the worst 10 contract list. They have 2 in the best, and somehow, even though they mentioned him, they did not include Logan Stankoven. I don't know how that's not one of the 10 best contracts in the NHL, because I think Stankoven is going to be a 55 to 60 point guy almost as a basement for the next 8 years, and he makes just $6 million. Jackson Blake was on the list. Seth Jarvis was also on the list. Heck, I mean, Jacob Slavin could be on the list too, right? Hell, we don't even know where Keandre Miller is going with the offensive part of his game. But, man, first year in a Hurricane sweater, it's pretty good.
Do you think if Nikishin is not on the team next year, you think Miller is going to be full-time, that power play to defenseman?
Yes, unless Nikishin brings back somebody who is also good at it. But I think Nikishin is going to be on the roster. Somebody asked me about this today. Because I was getting my car worked on. Shouts to Exxon up in Falls of the Neuse Road here in Raleigh. And the guy asked me, it was Kevin, who asked me, what do you think is going to happen with Nikishin? And I said, they haven't traded him to this point. I think if they were going to trade him, they would have traded him. I think right now they're just, there's no urgency to get a contract done today. Clearly, Nikishin's side, they would like to get an 8-year deal done at their number, which is probably in the neighborhood of 8.5 or 9. And the Hurricanes are like, no, we don't know that you're going to be that type of a player yet. And I think the Hurricanes are more inclined to go like 2 years, 5, 5.5, maybe 6, probably in the, just say 5.5, give or take, and buy a look at what he is going to do. That's some risk, because if he really takes another step defensively more than offensively, but if he takes another step defensively, then you have somebody you're probably going to pair with Jacob Slavin going forward. And that guy, if he's a 50-point, 55-point guy and becomes your power play 1 defenseman, and he plays physically and he's better defensively, then that guy's going to be worth $12 million. So that's the risk the Hurricanes would be making to bridge deal him. And I've said this before. I'll just use Jackson Blake as an example. When I saw the parameters of Jackson Blake's contract after his rookie year, and I said, as a rookie, I think this guy is going to be outstanding offensively. The rest of his game is rounding out pretty well. He's becoming a very good two-way player, as is Logan Stankoven, right? But when I saw Blake's deal, which is basically a cap hit of 5, I think it's 5.1 because some of the money is deferred, I thought, why the heck did he sign that? Literally, it was my first thought, was why did he sign that? And I don't know enough about Jackson Blake, the human being, to know whether or not that bothers him. I really don't. I hope it doesn't. It's the decision he made. And I talked to him about it before the season because I joke with him. I'm like, I can figure out why you signed it. He goes, man, I wasn't turning that down. And for me, that will be one of the contracts that we will look at and go, how the heck did that happen? Seriously, in 2 years, we're going to go, that is criminal how underpaid he is.
It's him and Stankoven, honestly.
Yeah.
Both below market value, you could argue at the time, but certainly now.
Well, see, at the time, because we didn't know. Like, when we're going to talk to Kanata Edwards here in a second, but the way I looked at it, I honestly thought that Stankoven, and I was wrong. I'm telling you what I thought and admitting it that I was wrong. I thought that Stankoven was a middle six winger who could give you offense but really plays with a great motor. I think he's better than that. I think right now he looks clearly he's a top six forward, can be a top six center. First year playing center, got better and better and better. Whether or not his future ultimately is in the middle, I still think at some point they'll move him back to the wing and get a better, bigger center to go on that second line. Regardless of whether or not that happens, it doesn't matter. Stankoven's going to be he's going to be about a 55 to 60 point guy. And I think Blake's offensive upside is higher, to be honest. And those guys combined to make less than 11.5 with the salary cap going where it is, that's just dumb. It's amazing. And credit to the Hurricanes and Eric Tulsky for thinking ahead and really putting them in a position where it'll be very difficult for Carolina to have salary cap problems. Very difficult. The only thing that could get in their way is if they do make a trade for Connor Hellebuck and he's no good, which goalies are weird. That's why I would not trade. Honestly, it's why I would not do it for Hellebuck. This is Connor.
I wouldn't either.
I personally think that Bussy Kochetkov as a tandem is good. Let it go.
That's good enough for the Canes decor to go not I guess just as deep as winning the Stanley Cup again, but that's not going to bring them down and prevent them from contending again.
You don't think they're winning the Stanley Cup again?
No, they're definitely saying they could, but I want to guarantee that.
Why not? I will. Back to back. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. All right. We were kicking this around before the show. We're going to talk about LeBron James here. We're bringing in my friend Nata Edwards, and I don't know if you know this, Nata, but we have to come up with a title. So you are on the Adam Gold Show Hoopers. You are the Charlotte bureau chief now.
I appreciate that,
yeah.
Charlotte bureau chief. Even though I'm technically not in Charlotte as we speak.
Oh, okay. Well, you don't have to always be. You're not tethered. There's not a string attaching you to Mint Street, where I guess the arena is not on Mint Street. Where's the arena?
It's on Tryon. It's on Tryon.
All right, Tryon Street. All right, let's get your thoughts. LeBron James, a Philadelphia 76ers forward, I guess. Now, what are your thoughts?
For someone that said that he wanted to pick happiness for his next destination, that man chose Philly.
That's a good point.
Think about that.
That's a very good point.
He said he wasn't going to try and chase rings. He wasn't going to do this. He wasn't going to do that. He said he was going to choose happiness. And then that man chose Philadelphia.
Okay.
What does that tell you? That man wanted to win.
Yes.
Badly.
Of course he does.
He was so tired of not winning and not being in the mix that he chose Philadelphia, where it's the best basketball fit for him. But at the same time, I still have a decent amount of questions about that roster going forward.
Oh, we're going to talk about that because, first of all, you made me laugh because you're right. Choosing Philadelphia when your stated goal was happiness is definitely, you could say that is the opposite because it is Philly. And home team or road team, nobody's really happy in Philadelphia. But I do think that to me, it was always going to be about winning, which is why everybody kept talking about Cleveland, and I kept thinking, why would he go there? It's just going to end up being miserable because they are obviously going to re-sign James Harden, and there's no way that basketball experience would, A, be happy, and B, lead to winning. I never thought he would go to Cleveland. I actually thought he was going to end up in Miami.
Same. But honestly, if there's nothing else to what just happened, LeBron James signing in Philadelphia is such a tacit repudiation of James Harden and everything that man stands for. Like, that's LeBron James looking at that roster and saying, oh, I can win with Donovan Mitchell. I can win with Evan Mobley. Jared Allen, I can win with.
Yeah.
Dean Wade's not there, but okay. But James Harden, that guy I can't win with. That is a tacit rejection of that man. And if there's anything that would make me just be introspective and be really just make sure I'm the most self-aware I possibly can be, LeBron James looking at you specifically and saying, no, and I'm going to go play in Philly with a guy that may or may not play 35 games this regular season. That would make me really introspective if I was James Harden.
All right, you were Canales Edwards, Adam Gold Show, Hooper's Charlotte bureau chief, joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. You were referring just now to Joel Embiid. So let's talk about that. Because to me, it's the key to whether or not Philadelphia is truly an NBA contender, NBA title contender, is what they can get out of Embiid in May and June. Everything that happens between October and April doesn't matter to me if I'm looking at Philadelphia pursuing an NBA championship. It's only May and June. How do you get Embiid to that point unless you can find a suitable replacement for him that would make Embiid's absence immaterial, but I don't know that they can find that. To me, that's the weak spot.
It's one of them. It's one of them. There are a bunch of questions I have with this roster. We were going to get to that.
Yes.
Embiid being one of them. The other one being, who's defending on this roster, Adam? Who's defending?
Well,
Because
occasionally it'll be
Brown.
LeBron.
LeBron's
Occasionally, I said.
Yeah, but again, when you can say with a straight face, LeBron is a top 3 defender on this roster, you have issues.
Okay.
You have the defense is a question. The shooting is another one. Like, you're talking about potentially starting Tyrese Maxey, VJ Edgecombe, Jaylen Brown, who isn't the best shooter. Then you have LeBron James and Joel Embiid, maybe. And then if not Joel Embiid, then it's probably going to be Janai Broome, who is a second-year guy who isn't ready to go yet. You're talking about the spacing being absolutely miserable with that lineup. That roster is not finished. That roster clearly has some other things they need to do, but the Embiid question is the biggest question we have, because how do you stretch that out? Because you're right. How do you stretch that out? I have no idea. But how do they defend on a nightly basis? Because if you're Jaylen Brunson and you're looking at that Sixers lineup, all you see is food. You see Pats. You see Genos. You see a whole bunch of food right now, because that is asking for a 35-point night in a 7-game series right now. That's how bad those defenders are going to be in Philly at this point.
All right, assuming the Knicks going to make the playoffs, I kid. Canales Edwards is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. What do you make of, because I think this roster is also intriguing in part because of LeBaron Philon Jr., who I thought looked awesome the last several weeks.
He's interesting, but he emphasizes what they already do well.
Score.
I think that's the thing. They can score. I'm not sure they have 3, 4 plus, again, league average defenders on that roster, much less 5.
Well, how hard would it be? Pardon me for interrupting, but how hard would it be to find good defenders? And even if you have to trade from a position of strength, maybe it is a Philon, although I don't think they would. How hard would it be to find a couple of good defenders, or find just a rim protector to take some minutes away from Embiid throughout the season?
I think that's going to be a little bit harder than we think, especially to fit. Because you're not only asking there to be a rim protector, you're asking that rim protector to play the physicality and the pace of probably 70, 75 games.
Yeah.
And then again, heavy minutes to make sure that Joel Embiid makes it. and that's not even a guarantee at this point because of just all the wear and tear and all the mileage. I think it's a dicier proposition. It's the best. Again, I understand why LeBron chose this place, especially if Minnesota was never going to be an option.
Right.
I completely understand. But at the same point, this roster has issues. And yes, it's going to be great because we are clearly getting Sixers, Celtics on Christmas. We're clearly getting that. We are clearly getting that.
Yes. Adam Silver's happy.
So
We've finally gotten to the end of this saga.
Yeah, well, yes, we're happy, but at the same time, we still only have 2 of these games picked out. There's still 3 more to go. There's still 3 more of these matchups that we need to get because it's very obvious it's Knicks Spurs going to be on Christmas too. We know those 2 matchups are absolutely set in stone. We still have 3 more matchups to go.
Final thing for Canales Edwards. Let me just bring this. This is obviously a fantasy. If the decision were Miami, are we having a different conversation, or did all of the obvious choices come with, don't know if how this is going to work out?
I think this was, if he chose Miami, we would still have the same conversations about shooting. I don't think we would have the same conversations about defense.
Right.
And I do think it would have come with another conversation about, does LeBron even start? And I don't think, we have to have that conversation too. There is that conversation. I don't think it would have worked in Miami, and I'm very grateful for LeBron for understanding that. But at the same point, this was going to be the best basketball fit, despite there being clear issues that they clearly can work upon, because I think they're like $5 million under the apron. They can make other moves without really being hamstrung by it.
Gotcha. All right, are you going to go out and get the Pat McAfee album?
Sir, I have working eardrums. I'd like to keep them.
Well, I've listened to the track. I think it's called Dookie. It's a 90-second track. I've listened to it mostly so you don't have to. So don't.
I appreciate you for your sacrifice.
Thank you very much. I had some time as I was getting my car inspected today. So not great. Don't doubt. It will not win a Grammy.
You know what? I'm so glad that you were here to do the hard work so that I don't have to do it.
That's why I'm here.
And if I accidentally listen to this song, I know, again, I will text you and I will be like, you know what? Thank you, Adam, for your sacrifice.
There you go. It's not good. Canales Edwards, Adam Gold Show Hooper's Charlotte Bureau Chief. Rolls off the tongue, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
It does. Perfectly.
Hey, thank you very much. Happy Friday to you.
Absolutely. Talk to you soon, man.
Peace. Canales Edwards. Max, have you heard the song?
Can't say I've listened to the McAfee album yet.
No, the album's not out.
Oh, just a single.
It's I don't know if it's, I don't know how I found it. Actually, according to something I read, like that song was available like months ago, but nobody really knew about it. It's not awesome. It's sort of like, well, I can't even describe it. I'm not going to, but you can listen to it if you want. It's terrible. But Pat McAfee has an album coming out that he says he's been working on for 20 years. 20 years. It's not the White Album. Okay, we'll just say that. All right, we're going to talk a little bit about the Carolina Panthers in a little bit. Yesterday, of course, they lost Nick Scorton for the season to a torn ACL in his right knee. And I know how people are first of all, that's a terrible development, right? They signed a defensive end who was the UFL Defensive Player of the Year. Last name is Gill. I'm drawing a blank on the first name. We're actually going to talk to the offensive coordinator of that team that he played for. He played for the Louisville Kings. They won the championship of the UFL. People might not know this. I didn't know it until today. But we're going to talk to the offensive coordinator of that team to get a scouting report on the newest Panther. Here's the deal. People are panicking because, wait, the starting tackles from last year's team are not there. Ike Ekwonu, Taylor Moton. And now you're missing Nick Scorton, who would have played opposite Jalen Phillips. That is the big deal. The fact that they don't have their two starting tackles is a deal, but it's not, to me, it's not as big as not having Scorton, because I didn't think they had great depth at that position to begin with. And now you're going to this is why they brought in this guy from the UFL, played basically minor league football. Taylor Moton, for me, has been good. And I don't think we have to go much beyond that. I don't think he's been great. I think he's been good. I've said this before about Ike Ekwonu. Not a franchise left tackle. I don't even think he's a top half of the league left tackle. I'm not sure he's the top 2/3 of the league left tackle. I love him as a human being. He's a dynamite guy. But he's not, on top of the fact that he's coming back from this patella tendon injury. So they went out and got Walker. He's going to be your starting left tackle. And Monroe Freeling, who was their first-round pick, middle of the first round, was always going to factor in somewhere. And now it's just going to be starting at right tackle. You've got Brady Christensen back, who can be a swing guy. They're going to probably have to go out, because the mistake everybody will make about Taylor Moton is that it's not an injury. It's a medical condition. And we do not know how long it will take to correct the medical condition. Injuries, we can pretty much gather a timeline on. Well, this is how long it takes to recover from this. We don't know how long it's going to take him to have blood clots in his lungs corrected. We don't know how long it will take the blood thinners to work to the point where he can actually go and play. So I think they'll have to probably go out and find another tackle to add to the mix. But I think Monroe Freeling will be very good at right tackle, and I think we know that Walker will be good at left tackle. I can make the argument that they're maybe even better, as long as those two guys stay healthy, better than they were a year ago. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, Trey Wingo from the Wingo Podcast Network. We'll talk about the NFL, which is, we're not that far away from the Hall of Fame game, and working a little golf with Trey, because Trey is obsessed. All of that next.
Delivering more hits than the Canes forecheck.
Shoot, he scores!
The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Adam.
I'm Adam Gold, and I'm there.
Tim. I'm Tim Donnelly, and I'm there. Dennis.
I'm Dennis Cox, and I'm there.
Victoria.
I'm Victoria Bodnecker, and I'm there.
Paul.
I'm Paul Eihander, and I'm there too.
You'll find them all here on the brand new 99.9 The Fan app. To work, to school, the beach, the mountains, the arena, take The Fan with you wherever you go. Available for Apple iPhone and Android phones. Download the 99.9 The Fan app today.
Back then, we'd spend nights in front of the boob tube. We'd take our same seats, smoke cigarettes, and watch until the station played. We all smoked in those days. If that was you then, get your lungs screened now. Surviving lung cancer starts with a scan. Learn more at screenyourlungs.org. This PSA was made possible by industry funding and guidance from lung cancer patient groups.
Dauntless Transmissions has been the trusted transmission shop in Raleigh for more than 27 years. But why do they call it Dauntless Transmissions? Well, dauntless means showing fearlessness and determination. Now, the experts at Dauntless Transmission are dauntless when it comes to caring for your vehicle. Whether that means a total transmission rebuild, complex engine or brake service, or just a routine tune-up, your vehicle will be dauntless when they're done with it. Visit DauntlessTransmissions.com. Dauntless Transmissions, your local source for exceptional service.
If you have a 2, 3, or 4% mortgage rate, don't refinance it. You don't have to, but you can still get cash out of your home. Introducing Loan Pronto's zero-cost equity loan. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. That's right. With Loan Pronto, you can get all the cash you need without touching your first mortgage and without any fees. One local homeowner just got $100,000, paid off all their credit cards, paid off their existing HELOC, remodeled their kitchen, and saved over $1,500 per month. It gets better. There's no hard credit pull up front, usually no appraisal, no long drawn-out process, and listen, no closing costs. You may be able to even skip your next 2 house payments. Call Loan Pronto now. Leave your low-rate mortgage intact, but get the cash you need in as little as 2 weeks without paying closing costs. LoanPronto.com. See how much you can get right now. Call 919-381-1760. That's 919-381-1760. LoanPronto.com. For qualified homeowners, equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
Rev up your summer at the Make This the Summer event going on now at John Heister Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Lillington. Grab summer adventures when you drive home a brand new 2026 Ram 1500 for 20% off. Excludes RHO. See dealer for details. Or expand your options for off-road exploration with a new 2026 Jeep Gladiator. Save 15% off during the Make This the Summer event. Plus, get 2.9% financing for 72 months. So get off your keister and get to John Heister Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Lillington today.
See if you're a winner every night. Watch live lottery drawings on WRAL-TV's 11 o'clock news. That's right, Carolina Pick 3, Carolina Pick 4, and Carolina Cash 5 numbers every night on WRAL-TV's 11 o'clock news. See if you're a winner before you go off to bed. Get your lottery numbers live every night.
North Carolina Education Lottery.
Only on WRAL-TV's 11 o'clock news.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu. My Computer Career, an elite CompTIA certification partner.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
This is Adam Gold.
I wanted to tell Victoria that my daughter said she is not eating any more magical Cheez-Its until the season starts.
Yes, I love this. We got a revolution going.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Welcome to your Friday. Max Gorin on the ones and twos today. Means it's a Yacht Rock Friday. Love it. Absolutely love it. Also love the fact that Trey Wingo is joining us from the Wing. Man has his own podcast network, the Wingo Network, award-winning Straight Facts homie, Trey Wingo Golf. We will probably talk about both here on the Adam Gold Show on a Friday. How are you, sir?
Well, Adam, always good to be with you, pal. What's up?
Oh, let's. I saw on ESPN. I think it was ESPN, did a ranking of their quarterbacks. And it was one of those things where they survey like 70 people. They've got some execs. They've got some coaches. They've got some scouts and all that. And they ranked their top 10 quarterbacks. I'm not surprised. We had Josh Allen 1. Patrick Mahomes 2. Matt Stafford 3. And I think Lamar Jackson was, I think he was 5th. But there was somebody that didn't have Lamar Jackson as a top 10 quarterback in the league. And I wondered, who did they ask that came up with 10 quarterbacks that would be ranked ahead of Lamar Jackson?
It's a great question, but unfortunately the bigger issue is, Adam, we're in what's officially called list season.
Yeah, right I know. It's true.
It's okay. We had a little break because the World Cup was here, which was fantastic.
Yeah.
And that was a lot of fun. But now that's over. And so it's like, well, we're just waiting. We're all just waiting for real football to start. So let's throw up some lists. Best trio of 1,000-yard receivers, best alternate uniforms, top 10 quarterbacks that once were left-handed. It's what happens in the industry right now. It's where we are.
All right, let me ask you about Patrick Mahomes, because I read today, going to be fully cleared 7 months after tearing his ACL, fully cleared. That clearly changes the calculus for the way people will look at the Chiefs. I think we all thought he was going to miss a little bit of time. Maybe it turns out he misses nothing. They don't have to use Justin Fields at quarterback. Thoughts on the Chiefs' offense and what we can expect with Mahomes coming back basically on time?
Look, everyone does this differently, right? Everyone heals differently. There is no timetable. There is no this, no that. And I said when Mahomes went down with the knee injury, it would not surprise me at all if he was there week one.
So, yeah.
When he dislocated his kneecap in 2019, he missed 2 games. Came back and they won the Super Bowl that year. Played consecutive weeks with a high ankle sprain, won a Super Bowl and an AFC championship game. The guy heals differently. He just does. And yes, there's a standard that this is going to be this. But remember, in 2011 or 2012, I can't remember if I get the years right. I think it was 2011 on Christmas Eve, Adrian Peterson tore his knee up. And the next year he came within 9 yards of setting the single season rushing record. Some guys can just do it differently. I'm not surprised by this in any way, shape, or form. I fully expected him to be there week one. And I think people that are throwing dirt on the Chiefs' graves, I mean, you can if that's your decision, but think twice about it because I do think that they're going to be pretty formidable again in a very difficult division.
All right, I want to dig into the Chiefs. You actually said it on this show to me. I mean, I know you've said it other places. I'm sure you had it on Straight Facts Homie that you expected Mahomes to be ready to go at the start of the season. Yeah, he did. I wrote down high ankle sprain because everybody misses like a month with a high ankle sprain. He played right through it. It certainly compromised him, but he was able to play, and 70% of Patrick Mahomes is still a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. But is the roster, or are his weapons, let's say that, are his weapons at a high enough level to really win with?
I do because I've seen him win with less. Remember when they won Super Bowl 57, Juju Smith-Schuster was the leading receiver. Right. Okay. And they had the kid Jerick McKinnon out of the backfield that did wonderful things for them. I think the addition of Kenneth Walker as a really 2-down back that will be able to pound the rock. Look, the only Chiefs running game they had last year was Kareem Hunt on 3rd and 1 and 4th and 1.
Yep.
He was more effective in those scenarios than the Eagles were with the tush push last season. That's how effective Kareem Hunt was. But that was it. Isaiah Pacheco didn't have the burst anymore. They couldn't get anything going. They have a legitimate running game. Now, if Rashee Rice can find his way onto the field and avoid other situations, we know what he is when he's healthy and can play. The key, I think, is Worthy. Worthy to me was a guy who got dinged up week 1 in Brazil by friendly fire in like the first series of the game. Kelsey clipped him, and he missed 3 or 4 games after that and was never really the same. From what I've been told and people that I trust, Worthy has put in a ton of work, and they think he's going to have a breakout year instead of just being the fly route guy and the 9 route guy. So I do think there's a little depth there. I love the players that they took in the player procurement process. The receiver they drafted had more touchdowns than anybody in the Big Ten, and they got the kid out of Cincinnati, who I think is a real interesting character. He wasn't drafted. He only had 37 catches last year because Cincinnati didn't throw the ball that much. But he's big, he can run, and I think he's going to fit in pretty well in the system that Andy and Eric Bieniemy now back on the offensive staff, I think is going to be a huge benefit as well.
Gosh, Eric Bieniemy has. I mean, I don't even know how to phrase it. I feel like he probably should have gotten an opportunity to be a head coach, a long time ago. Didn't work out, and sometimes you leave, and it's not as good elsewhere. And he never got the chance to be that head coach. I hope it works out going back to Kansas City. What do you think we're going to get from Travis Kelce? We saw more dropped passes last year. I mean, big drops too. Than we had ever seen from him before.
Yeah, especially at the start of the season. And I think he acknowledged that he probably didn't put in as much work as he had in previous years. But if you go look at the numbers when Mahomes was there, I believe he had the 3rd most receiving yards of any tight end at 37. And I think his demise was a little over-exaggerated, and he wasn't getting the touchdowns that he had in the past, but he was still very effective in the passing game. And as long as they can get something out of him in the middle with, I think, the depth that the Chiefs have at wide receiver, I don't think that they're going to be as far down as people. I mean, look, remember 3 years ago when Tyreek Hill left, they said they weren't going to make the playoffs.
Right.
They won the Super Bowl. If you're telling me to bet against Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes ready to go week one, no, I'm just not going to do it. It's like when Belichick and Brady were there. I'll be the last one out of that party, and I'll be the last one out of this one as well.
Trey Wingo at Wingos with a Z on Twitter joins us on the Adam Gold Show. Betting favorite in the NFL by a lot. The Los Angeles Rams. Not the defending Super Bowl champion Seattle Seahawks. But the L.A. Rams, Myles Garrett comes in, Jared Verse goes the other way. I mean, I think Jared Verse is going to be dynamite, so I get it from a Cleveland perspective. And I also understand that the Rams are, for the last, 7 or 8 years, have been we're trying to win yesterday type of a team. If they can get Aaron Donald out of retirement, what do you make of what the Rams are?
Well, I think it's smart to put them as the betting favorite. Now, I ran into Mike McDonald, Seahawks head coach at Tahoe, and we talked a little bit. He's like, yeah, keep talking about the Rams. They're going to use that as motivation in Seattle, and I understand that. But, look, if you get Myles Garrett, and I believe Aaron Donald is coming back. I said that as soon as they hired him, as soon as they signed or traded for Myles Garrett. I firmly believe that was going to happen. You can't double team them. So someone's coming free. That's just the way it is. And let's not forget the other thing they did. They got two of the Chiefs' top corners, Trent McDuffie and Jalen Watson, that they also signed. The only issue that I can see for the Rams is, where is Puka Nacua going to be? Obviously, he's dealt with some stuff this offseason, and he's going through rehab, and hopefully that goes well and all ends well for him. But he's a big part of their plans. I just think the Rams have a plan, and they know what they're doing. And the idea that there was any sort of rift between Sean McVay and Les Snead about the drafting of the quarterback out of Alabama is just ludicrous. That all that post-draft conversation from Sean McVay, reading his faces and body language, that had nothing to do with Les Snead. That had everything to do with Matthew Stafford saying, look, man, you're still our guy.
Right.
Okay? You're still our guy. And then they extended him in the offseason. So they took care of their quarterback. They potentially drafted their quarterback of the future.
Mm-hmm.
They got the best defensive player in football. And remember, they were the only team down the stretch of the last season that could score on Seattle. Go look at Seattle's last 7 or 8 games. 6 points, 7 points, 10, 9, 3. The only team that put up points on them was the Rams in that crazy Thursday night game with the 2-point conversion that wasn't, and then it was. That flipped where home field advantage was going to be for the NFC Championship game and the NFC Championship game. Well, now you have that offense, which is pretty much intact, and now you have a defense that is going to do a better job of being able to throttle the opposing offenses. There's every reason to assume that the Rams should be the betting favorite.
Yeah, I agree. It is going to be interesting if Aaron Donald, and I think you're probably right that he is coming back, not having played for 2 years. That's a long time to not have
Phillip Rivers.
Yeah, but
Phillip Rivers.
I just think it's easier.
And all Aaron has to do is go beat up somebody in front of him one-on-one. I like that advantage. What did Mike Singletary say all those years ago? I like that kind of party, baby. I like Aaron Donald in one-on-one scenarios.
I have about 3 or 4 minutes left, but so I do want to ask you, because I know you and I went back and forth, either text or on Twitter, after the Bryson DeChambeau 2-shot penalty, which today I saw a little bit of the interview. It doesn't seem like he's blaming anybody for it. He's sort of saying, if I don't get the 2-shot penalty, I could have won the Open Championship. I think he could have won the Open.
Right. See, this is the problem I have.
Could have won it anyway.
Could have won it anyway.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
So you took yourself out of it mentally. I want to be clear about a couple of things. I love Bryson. I think he's interesting.
Yep.
He's fun. He's entertaining. He's a little bit of a villain. It would be great to have him back on the PGA Tour. Who knows what LIV is going to be or how it's going to be or if it's going to be. It's clearly imploding, as we talked about in April and had that in April for you. But at the end of the day, 20% of life is what happens to you and 80% is how you respond to it. Now, can you imagine a scenario in which Ben Hogan, Jack Nicklaus, Tiger Woods Arnold Palmer would have said, oh, I don't like this ruling. I'm thinking about taking my ball and going home.
Yeah.
When you were within a few strokes of the lead at a major and nobody in front of you had ever done what you've done twice, win a major championship. So he can blame the 2-stroke penalty all he wants. That's not what cost him. What cost him is his ability to get over it, his inability to get over it and move on. And I know that's the case because Saturday he wanted to go back and get the scorecard from the RNA. And they were like, no, that's not how this works. So you can question whether or not it should have been called. I totally understand that. I believe whether it was in deliberate or inadvertent, I thought there was enough grounds to call the penalty.
Yeah.
But then deal with it. Like, don't do this performative BS for 40 minutes out there with the officials. At some point, you need to understand, no matter what I say, they're not changing their mind. So then I need to change my mindset about how I'm going to go and attack the next 2 rounds. And he just didn't do that.
Yeah, I think Rory McIlroy, I thought, spoke for a lot of players who are not willing to put themselves in that conversation when he said he thought that, like when he saw it in real time, he said that's going to be a problem. He thought it was a penalty. And he also said that Bryson's reaction to it was performative and he does it for attention. And I don't think Rory was wrong. I also think Rory spoke for a lot of players who aren't willing to do that.
Yeah, and people get on Rory for saying things like that.
He doesn't care.
Let me be clear. Yeah. All we want from athletes is honesty.
Right.
Right? We say, hey, just tell us what you're feeling. And then Rory tells you what you're feeling. You're like, well, he shouldn't have said that. You can't have it both ways, man. Do you want people to be honest or do you want to do what Bryson's done? I think he hasn't spoken to the press at the collective press at a major event for 7 majors.
That's right.
Or 7 straight. He doesn't talk. So that's the other thing that bothered me about Bryson. If you're so adamant that you didn't do anything wrong, why didn't you go up there and defend yourself? Why didn't you say, hey, guys, this was my position? Instead, he didn't do that. Now he's talking in the confines of live where it's much more comfortable for him. But the other thing I will say about this whole thing with Bryson, the RNA did themselves a disservice as well. You can read lips. And at one point in that conversation, Bryson says, I'm not going to accept the penalty. You'll have to DQ me. On the RNA said, well, that's unfortunate, but if that's your decision, we accept it. Right. Or instead of waiting for Bryson to decide whether or not he's going to play, they could have said, you're at 5 under. Here's your tee time. Show up or don't. We don't care. And then it's on Bryson to decide, and they wouldn't have had this whole drama of holding everything up.
Yeah, that is true. And Justin Thomas said it on Twitter, like, hey, can we have the tee times?
They could have done that at any point. They could have done that at any point and not waited for Bryson to make the drama. So the RNA let that happen. Yeah, that was on them.
They indulged him the ride back out to 5. They didn't have to do that. They could have simply said, here's the video. We've already seen it. You're not going to show us anything. We're not going to change our opinion. So here it is. You can accept this or not. And I think Bryson threw a tantrum. It didn't work out. And he didn't get that one phone call I think he was trying to get. Trey Wingo at Wingos on Twitter. The Wingo Network. Straight facts, homie. Trey Wingo on golf. Thank you so much, man. Football season's here.
Pleasure.
All right.
Almost time, buddy.
We'll talk to you soon. Trey Wingo here on the... Whoops, sorry. When we come back, one-timers, questions and answers. You can go to YouTube, by the way. YouTube, search Adam Gold Show or 99.9 The Fan. Let's do it. Next.
Questioning goalie interference calls since day one. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end.
The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
Bluebell Chocolate Lava Cake is a mountainous eruption of flavor. Classic vanilla ice cream loaded with rich chocolate cake pieces, rivers of chocolate sundae sauce, chunks of dark chocolate, and a deep fudge swirl. Prepare yourself for an earth-shaking experience.
The good old days are being made right now.
The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell ice cream at your local grocer and pick up your favorite flavor today.
Are you struggling with your Medicare drug costs? The NC Department of Insurance SHIP program may be able to help. The Extra Help and Medicare savings programs are available for those who qualify, but you have to apply. Contact SHIP today to see if you qualify. Visit ncshiip.com or call toll-free at 855-408-1212. SHIP provides free, unbiased help in all 100 counties.
Project supported by grants from the Administration for Community Living. Contents do not necessarily represent official views of, nor an endorsement by ACL, HHS, or the U.S. government.
There's danger out there. It lurks on highways and quiet neighborhood streets. It's more likely to kill you than a shark, and more terrifying than the biggest snake. Distracted driving claims lives every day. Every notification, swipe, social post, video, or selfie while driving risks your life. So while you might think public speaking or the zombie apocalypse is scary, what's really terrifying and even deadly is distracted driving. Eyes forward, don't drive distracted. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
The North Carolina Healthcare Association invites you to listen to this month's podcast, Conversations on the State of Healthcare. We're delving into a new NCHA report titled More Than Medicine, the Economic Impact of North Carolina Hospitals. My guest is Josh Dobson, President and CEO of the North Carolina Healthcare Association.
Hospitals generated about $52 billion in economic impact last year, roughly 6% of the entire state's gross domestic product. They spent around $44 billion on operations and workforce expenses. And that spending does ripple outward into local economies. Hospitals are often among the largest employers in a region, especially rural communities. In fact, they're among the top 10 employers in 95 of North Carolina's 100 counties.
You can learn more and join our latest conversations on the state of healthcare wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. And find out more by visiting nchealthcare.org.
Your child's doctor shares your goals, a healthy future for your child. Doctors recommend vaccines throughout childhood because they protect what matters most: your child's future from preventable disease and serious illness. Discuss any questions you have and check that your child is up to date and talk about any concerns. You're right to have questions. Get real answers. Start a conversation with your doctor today. Visit vaccinesforkids.nc.gov. Paid for by NCDHHS.
If you want the nation's best auto insurer, look no further than North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Rated #1 in Crash Network's Insurer Report Card 7 years in a row, we're the only insurer in the nation to receive an A+ rating from auto body shops. Our philosophy is simple: be fair, be quick, be the best. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
This is Adam Gold.
Well, if I'm watching the Panthers game and it's going real bad, many times it does.
I punish them by not watching
I'm
them.
a disappointed mother.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? So, yeah, I realize it's not going to change the game, but it makes me feel better. And,
There were other factors at play there, but for the most part, I punish them. I will not watch you.
The Adam Gold Show.
See Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. Max Gorin on the ones and twos today. Next hour, Steve Logan, a championship offensive coordinator from the UFL. He was the Louisville Kings OC last season. Cam Gill was the Defensive Player of the Year in the UFL for Louisville. He is now he's signed with the Carolina Panthers in the wake of the Nick Scorton injury. And he's an outside linebacker, edge rusher. He led the league with 11 sacks. So we'll talk to Steve Logan about Cam, and obviously we'll talk about a lot of different things with Steve Logan, who has opinions on everything. And that is just perfect for a Friday. All right, it is time, and we're going to hear from Dave Canales, by the way, next hour. But it's time for one-timers. All right, Max, what you got for me?
All right, well, with the big news of the day being LeBron going to the Philadelphia 76ers on a 2-year, $8 million deal, some people are asking online, and I was wondering what your input was on this question as well. If you were LeBron, or maybe if you were just you, which Philly area golf club would you pick between Aronimink, Marion, Philly Cricket Club or Pine Valley?
Well, LeBron's going to get a whole lot of run at Pine Valley. I did see.
It's a tough track for someone who's kind of still starting, though.
Yeah, they're all tough. None of those were easy.
Yeah, none of those are easy.
We just watched Durham. We know Marion is tight and kind of tricky, so none of them are easy. But LeBron's I think at Pine, and I have never played any of them. So let us just be very clear here. I think at Pine Valley, most of the trouble is just there's sand everywhere. I do think that you can probably at least find your ball. It's like when we play at Pinehurst, and I have played number 2 a number of times because as many times as the USGA has gone there, I've had opportunity to play the revamped number 2. It's almost impossible to lose a golf ball. I mean, legitimately, it's almost impossible. You have to try really hard. And I think LeBron, I think that's probably the most playable of the golf courses for him. Marion is going to be hard. Very, very hard. To Pine Valley. Go to Pine Valley.
Yeah, U.S. Open venue may not be the easiest golf course. But speaking of LeBron James, on a serious on-court question.
Sure.
Are the Sixers now the favorites to win the Eastern Conference in the NBA, or maybe even the favorites to win the NBA title next season?
I think the betting favorite will probably, they'll be the betting favorite, I think. I don't know that they should be the favorites. I think Nata Edwards, who joined us earlier, brought up a lot of good points about defense. But I want to see how Philadelphia rectifies the roster, how they improve it over the course of the season. There's a lot of time. You can make changes. You can certainly improve and find defensive players, and if they do that, I think they'll be okay, and they probably should be the favorite.
All right, with 30 seconds to go here, we'll go one more. We'll go over to Panthers training camp, and I'll just ask you, Adam, what do you think a good season would look like for Bryce Young?
Oh, for Bryce Young, you got to win. 9-win minimum, I think, for Bryce. I want to see him be consistently good early in games. I know he's going to be good late in games. We need to see early in games Bryce be consistently good. There you go.
Still arguing whether hockey or golf has the tougher dress code? The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, Carolina Panthers fans, it's Dennis Cox from 99.9 The Fan. Join me and my co-host Chris Lee from WREL TV as our podcast Panthers Playbook rolls on this offseason, presented by Wake Orthopedics. In every episode, we'll keep you up to date on Carolina Panthers news as we break down the NFL draft, insights on free agents and prospects, plus all the inside information on the offseason. Follow and subscribe to Panthers Playbook wherever you discover your favorite podcasts or watch on YouTube.
The summer grill sale is here at Atlantic Spas and Billiards on Glenwood Avenue in Raleigh. Save up to $700 on a Kamado Joe kettle grill or pick up a Green Mountain pellet grill at the lowest price of the year. All in-stock grill accessories from Kamado Joe and Green Mountain Pellet are 50% off. Save on our huge stock of charcoal and wood pellets. Atlantic Spas and Billiards is the billiard, dart, and game headquarters of the Triangle. Pool tables, shuffleboard, foosball, outdoor ping pong, and more. Atlantic Spas and Billiards in Raleigh and Wilmington.
It's bow time. Ordering Bojangles Bow Bites is the easiest choice you'll make today. The bite-sized hand-breaded chicken is fried to crispy perfection, making it perfect for sharing, snacking, or when you're on the go. Just don't call it a nugget. The only hard part is choosing from our 6 dipping sauces. We've got a sauce for every kind of craving, from our creamy house-made ranch to our sweet and spicy peach honey pepper sauce. It all depends on what kind of mood you're in. Head to your nearest Bojangles today and discover the dippable, shareable, and craveable Bow Bites. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time. Time to head on over to Bojangles to try Bojangles' new Bow Bites. Bite-sized, hand-breaded chicken fried to crispy perfection. On the go, they're perfect for snacking or sharing. Dipped in your favorite sauce like creamy house-made ranch or peach honey pepper, they're the perfect way to satisfy your craving for flavor and value. Try Bojangles' new Bow Bites. It's an easy choice to make when it's bow time.
At the V Foundation, V is for victory over cancer. V is for victory over giving up.
Don't give up. Don't ever give up.
Join our team in the fight against cancer at V.org.
This summer, there are 250 reasons to join T-Mobile.
Girls trip? Booked. And switching to T-Mobile helped make it happen.
With Experience Beyond, switch and get $100 back. Plus, $650 in value in built-in plan benefits. That's $750 in your first year, guaranteed.
And honestly, that $100 back, I'm putting it towards the zip line.
Now that's how you do summer.
Exactly. Best switch I ever made.
This is just one reason to join T-Mobile this summer. There are 250 reasons. Find yours.
Savings based on the value of benefits included with Experience Beyond, like entertainment and 1 year of AAA Classic and Dash Pass on us. Benefits may require activation. See plan for details. Get $100 via virtual prepaid MasterCard with eligible ported no cash access and expires in 6 months. Issued by Sunrise Banks and a member FDIC. Allow 8 weeks.
We all want more for North Carolina. More boundless views, more adventures in the outdoors, and more clean roads to get there. But to get more, we have to do less. Less littering, that is. Make it your nature to trash your trash and keep NC clean. And we'll all have more reasons to love North Carolina. Litter less, get more. For more on the 7 outdoor NC Leave No Trace principles, visit OutdoorNC.com. Sponsored by the North Carolina Association of Broadcasters and Visit North Carolina, a part of the Economic Development Partnership of North Carolina in cooperation with this station.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Workers' comp can be tricky, but my law firm will be on top of all the complicated paperwork and sneaky deadlines so that all of your I's are dotted and T's are crossed. If you've been hurt on the job, I'm on top of it. Contact us at ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Eagle Leasing Storage Studio. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Canes light the lamp here.
If you're LeBron now, when you look at the starting lineup for the Sixers, there's a natural opportunity to slot in as a power forward, and then you could be talking about a starting five with Tyrese Maxey, VJ Edgecombe, Jaylen Brown, Joel Embiid, and LeBron James. That's a starting five that can compete with the New York Knicks to come out of the East.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold, Chris Canty from Unsportsmanlike on ESPN Radio. We have already gotten there. LeBron James, Philadelphia versus the Knicks. I get it. Here's the one thing that I find funny every single year. We only remember the last thing we saw. It's the only thing that matters. The Knicks are like the favorites in the NBA. They might not be now. It might be Philadelphia. I have to check that out. Were the Knicks the number 1 seed in the East?
No, it was the Pistons.
Yeah. I mean, they were the best team in the playoffs. Nobody's denying that. But I think we all saw, man, they're really, when you get right down to it, they were like 2 players. It was Jalen Brunson, and if he couldn't do it all, OG Anunoby, in terms of their offense. It was fun. It's fun to watch. They were down like 1,000 points in every game of the finals. They just happened to win 4 of them. Bananas series. Absolutely crazy. All right. Lots to do here. Steve Logan is going to join us in about 20 minutes. The former East Carolina coach, longtime offensive coordinator, offensive assistant, quarterbacks coach, running backs coach in the NFL and in college, and spent last year as the offensive coordinator for the Louisville Kings in the United Football League. They won the title, by the way. And Cam Gill, the defensive player of the year in the UFL, outside linebacker, edge rusher for Louisville, led the league in sacks with 11, is now with the Carolina Panthers. Just signed yesterday after the Nick Scorton knee injury. And if you haven't heard, torn ACL, right knee, out for the year. All right. Before we get to that, and I want you to hear from Dave Canales, a number of things about how you deal with Scorton's absence, the offense, wide receiver position, all that. We're going to hear from Dave Canales, get his thoughts in just a minute. Yesterday, it was revealed that David Tepper would basically take care of half of the bill of a $1.3 billion Bank of America Stadium renovation. They announced that as they announced the new or the extension of the deal, the naming rights deal with Bank of America. And I think he's also going to pick up the overages. And I realize nobody's going to have to tell me, well, it sucks that the citizens are on the hook for $650 million or whatever it is, right? And I agree. I don't know how many times I have to say this. This is my position. David Tepper owns the stadium. David Tepper should foot the bill for all of it. We have a house. We want to do home renovations. I don't ask my neighbors to chip in. That's my position. But that is not the reality. This is the way it works. And it's unfortunate because as society is probably not the right way to put it, but as a community, we want these teams to stay. And we don't want to be contentious with the owners of these teams. So, unfortunately, we give. Politicians do that, and we vote. We go out and vote. If we all decided to never vote for a politician who gave sweetheart deals to owners, we'd have nobody to vote for. So, without getting deep into the weeds with that, yeah, it sucks that the public subsidizes billionaires. Hate it. Wish it was different, but unfortunately it's not. With that aside, the $1.3 billion renovation of Bank of America Stadium looks great. A lot of new spaces for fans to congregate. There's apparently a 44-seat concert venue attached to it. That's nice. David Tepper invented the concert in Charlotte, right? For basically what we're told. All of it is good. And I pointed this out yesterday on Twitter. There's no roof. There's no retractable roof. I joked we should have a pergola. It's lovely. Be lovely. But there's no roof, therefore, there won't be a Final Four. And I know there are people who think there won't be a Super Bowl either. There's plenty of stadiums that have Super Bowls that don't have roofs. There's no roof in San Francisco, in Levi Stadium in Santa Clara. That doesn't have a roof. They don't have a roof in Miami. They have Super Bowls there. Now, there are other stadiums that have retractable roofs. Dome, they've got one in I think Tennessee's new stadium, it has a retractable dome. They had a Super Bowl in New York. They don't have a roof there. All I'm saying is having no roof doesn't eliminate you from hosting a Super Bowl. However, the commissioner was in Charlotte yesterday for a town hall, and he did point out that there would be no Super Bowl until Charlotte gets more hotel rooms. That's really what determines whether or not your city can host a Super Bowl. And I would say, how many hotel rooms does Jacksonville have? Or does Tampa have? We've had Super Bowls there, right? And I don't know how many they've got, but ultimately they determine you need about 9,000. Was it 9,000? I think 9,000 hotel rooms. Maybe it's more. It's probably more than that. I have no idea what the number is, but that Charlotte falls short of the current hotel space to have a Super Bowl in that city. Said that's what determines it. He did say that it's perfect for the NFL draft, so I would expect that. Once the stadium renovations are done, which they expect those to be finished by 2030, once that happens, then I think you can expect the NFL draft to come. And that's, by the way, a pretty good decision by the NFL to untether that from New York City and move it around, because it is cool to see how it is dealt with in different places. Anyway, so no Super Bowl coming to Charlotte. No final. I think the bigger deal is that it would be a perfect spot for a Final Four, and that's not going to happen. Because the last time, Charlotte had a Final Four back in 1994 when Arkansas beat Duke in the national championship game. And, before then, I believe What was it? Did UNCC? No, I don't think that was Charlotte, but I think they've had others. Anyway, I know Greensboro's had Final Fours before, but that to me, that's the loss, is that you've eliminated yourself from having a Final Four. And who knows? Not that you're eliminated from having a regional, because not all the regionals are in domes, but it's just another place that you could put 40,000 fans for a basketball game. All right. Let's get to take two and talk about the Panthers. And before we get into this, when I was talking about their depth, my fault, I had forgotten that Pat Jones still part of the mix. So you've got Jones, you've got Princely Umanmielen, and now you've got the new Cam Gill from the Louisville Kings, UFL Defensive Player of the Year. All right. And speaking of Cam Gill, Dave Canales on him and others.
Just great to have guys that we know us, helps out on special teams, things like that. So, between, and I'll address it too here, but between Cam and Travis Gibson, Thomas Incoom, guys that we know and guys that are familiar with what we're doing. Princely being asked to step up into a major role, what am I getting to, right? It's Nick Scorton, right? And, just a horrible loss for us, for just as a guy, as a leader, as a young guy, to be able to be a leader because of how he represents himself. And he tore his ACL yesterday. He'll have surgery pretty quickly, I think in the next couple of weeks, and start his rehab. So, but all the guys are supporting him. We have guys who have been through this, and, they've all just said, we got him, and we'll be following along with him.
Yeah, that was a tough scene, man. You obviously had such a good year last year, and you could tell, man, with him on one side and Jalen Phillips on the other, they had the makings of a very good defense, and maybe Pat Jones, who was supposed to be that until they got Jalen Phillips, and Dave Canales talked about Jones and how he fits. It's not there? Disappeared? It disappeared. Jones. Pat Jones is actually there, even though we don't have a voice of Pat Jones. All right, let's get to some other position battles. Dave Canales on safety and wide receiver.
The safety group is interesting as well. Obviously, we have Nick Scott. We have Trey Merrick, who played fantastic football for us last year. Adding Zig Wheatley from Penn State, the rookie. He's shown some flashes. Lathan's made some amazing plays just in the last 2 days. Damani Richardson in that mix as well. And then the receiver room. It's a pretty veteran, pretty deep room back there as well, with David Moore, with John Mechie, guys like that. Of course, we threw Chris Brazel in the mix. Another great catch on a deep ball today by Chris. Just continuing to show why he's here. And Bryce and Chris just creating that chemistry. So I'm really interested to see that group come together.
Look, the safety position has been kind of a work in progress for the Panthers for a while. The wide receiver spot, talking about Chris Brazel, made a great catch yesterday. I am intrigued by John Mechie. If Mechie doesn't have the injury, right, as a senior at Alabama, or his last year at Alabama, whatever year that was, I think there was a very good chance that he was going to be a first or second round pick, right? And I don't really know where he was drafted. I think it was significantly later than that. But here's a guy who was a star before the injury. Bryce Young is familiar with him. I think that could be a sneaky, really, really good addition and could give them a whole bunch of depth. Also, Dave Canales has hinted with moving Tenero and McMillan at times inside to the slot. And here is the head coach on Tenero.
We used them a lot in there last year as well, so we'll just continue that plan. Chris Brazel gives us the opportunity to move him inside a little bit more. We can pop T-Mac inside, put Chris at the single. When you have somebody that tall and fast sitting on the single side with the one-on-one matchup, that gives an advantage. Maybe the defense tilts that way a little bit. It creates a little bit of space inside.
Real quick, one more thing about practice. I was reading today that Monroe Freeling, who's now been working on the right side because of the blood clot issues for Taylor Moton, got kind of abused by Jalen Phillips and Pat Jones at times. Hey, it's going to be a work in progress. I think he'll be fine at right tackle. But, that's what happened today. And maybe that's a better sign about the Panthers defensively than anything else. But not first practice because it's the second practice, but I'm not really concerned about them, and I won't be concerned until we see on a field against another team that it isn't good. But we'll see. I said before that I think they'll have to add some depth at that position. We'll see how they've already addressed depth at edge with the addition of Cam Gill, and we'll talk to Steve Logan, who coached sort of against Cam Gill in practice anyway for the Louisville Kings last year. We'll talk to Steve Logan about the Panthers' new edge rusher. I do want to get to one more thing that isn't Panthers before we take the break and Steve Logan joins us on the other side. Remember the 3-game series that Duke was taking to Amazon? Remember, it was Connecticut, then it was Michigan, and it was Gonzaga, all at neutral sites, all games on Amazon Prime. It was a 3-game package that you could watch on Amazon. Well, as soon as that was announced, the University of Michigan challenged it, as though they were not aware that that this was going to happen. They challenged it and said that they actually had the broadcast rights, as though this was not discussed. Well, there was a Big Ten Michigan issue here, and ultimately that game was at one point moved away from Madison Square Garden to Miami Marlins Stadium. But now that game has been canceled. It will not be Duke versus Michigan on December 21st. They're going to Duke is going to Madison Square Garden, where they will play Texas Tech. They played Texas Tech at Madison Square Garden this past year. That's the game they had a big lead and lost. Remember? They had a big second half. I know that's how Duke loses games. I kid. Although I guess that's factually accurate. Anyway, the Blue Devils have kind of reassembled their 3-game Amazon series. It is Connecticut in Las Vegas on November 25th. It is Texas Tech in Madison Square Garden, I believe, December 21st. And the game against Gonzaga in Detroit, for whatever reason, on February 20th. Those 3 games will all be part of the Amazon Prime package. And we talked about this, 2 months ago when the whole thing was announced. And this is another way to get revenue. ESPN's actually not losing revenue because they're selling the rights. They basically gave away their intellectual property here because they control it to Amazon for a fee. So they're getting paid. So it's really no skin out of ESPN other than they're giving up television ratings. And this will go to Amazon. And I have no doubt that they'll do well on Amazon and Duke will make a lot of money because that's what Duke is really good at, making a lot of money on basketball. All right, Steve Logan's going to join us on the other side. We'll talk about Cam Gill, the newest Carolina Panther, and we'll also talk about the football world at large. Next.
Because your fantasy football team needs all the help it can get, the Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
When news breaks, don't wait. WRAL News Plus goes with you everywhere. Weather, traffic, and breaking news, live and local, all day, every day. Listen on 96.5 FM in Durham, 99.3 FM in Raleigh, and throughout the Triangle on 101.5 FM HD3. At home, in the car, at work, or on the go. Stay connected to the Triangle's most trusted newsroom anytime, anywhere. WRAL News Plus. Coverage you can count on.
When you own your own business, you need to keep things moving. Need to book a last-minute flight? Earn a $300 travel credit to cover that. Need to take a meeting before takeoff? Do it from the comfort of the Chase Sapphire Lounge by the club. Need to catch your breath before you board? Done. Chase Sapphire Reserve for Business, the business card that gives back all you put in. Visit chase.com/reserve business to learn more. Cards issued by JPMorgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC, subject to credit approval. Terms apply.
National expertise at local market value. That's Smith Anderson, because every business reaches moments that define what's next. A company to acquire, a lawsuit to defend, a deal to close. That's when experience matters most. Nearly half of Smith Anderson's attorneys built their careers at national and international law firms. For more than a century, businesses have trusted us to help them seize opportunities and navigate their toughest challenges. Smith Anderson, expect excellence.
It's your turn to play with the new Scratch Off Fast Play and Digital Instance games from the North Carolina Education Lottery. Spin your way toward a $200,000 Scratch Off top prize or go for a jackpot with Digital Instance and Fast Play. Plus, enter for a chance to win a VIP trip for two to see Wheel of Fortune in LA. Come on, big money! Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds to win range from 1 in 3.76 to 4.31. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Tia, can you pass me a Baja?
A what?
Mountain Dew Baja Blast. Try it. It's tropical at first, then the lime flavor hits.
Oh, okay. That's crisp. Tastes like vacation.
Right?
Mm-hmm. And it's mine now.
Have a Baja Blast.
Right now at Circle K, buy a 20-ounce Mountain Dew and get another for just $1. Do the Dew at Circle K today.
Stay informed with The Rundown, the daily newsletter from High School OT that delivers high school sports news and insights straight to your inbox. Brought to you by High School OT and powered by our sponsors Wake Orthopedics, First Carolina Bank, and Smith Douglas Homes. Subscribe to The Rundown at highschoolot.com.
Hello, I'm John Heister for John Heister Chevrolet in Fuquay Arena. And you know, people are asking us, how are you selling so many cars all of a sudden? Well, did you know that the Beltline has opened up the outer loop? We're only 28 minutes from Knightdale. We're only 19 minutes from Clayton and 15 minutes from Apex. We're now the most convenient Chevrolet dealership to reach in the Triangle. It's just one more reason to get off your keister and come to Heister.
Now at John Heister Chevrolet, get up to $14,000 off a new 26 Chevy Silverado 1500. See dealer for details. Together, let's drive.
HIV is not a crime, or it shouldn't be.
It's time for the laws to catch up to science.
Join the Elizabeth Taylor AIDS Foundation to modernize outdated HIV criminalization laws. Go to etaf.org. Campaign funded through the support of Gilead Sciences Incorporated.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter. This is Adam Gold.
540.
Yeah.
Right? The big outer belt loop. Why don't we just call them inner loop and outer loop? Don't give me north, south, east. It changes.
Mm-hmm.
It's a circle.
Yeah, they should. They use it for belly buttons.
Right? Inner and outer.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Use it for belt lines.
All right. I'm done with the rant.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. Max Gorin on the ones and twos today. When I found out that Cam Gill, defensive end from the Louisville Kings, the reigning UFL Defensive Player of the Year, was signing with the Carolina Panthers, I thought, wait a second. I know somebody that worked for the Louisville Kings, the offensive coordinator, one of the greats ever, Steve Logan, joins us on the Adam Gold Show. Coach, how's your summer going so far?
Well, I'm finally slowing it down. We started February 15th
in
the UFL and ended on January the 15th. So it was 4 months of 16-hour days, and I've done that a lot in my life, but I've never done it at this age. And, buddy, let me tell you, it beat me to death.
Man, you have more energy than anybody I know. But I do know that this is the kind of stuff that you really get into. Because I know you had an experience with NFL Europe, and you always said that was the most fun you had because it was graduate-level teaching. How did the UFL compare to NFL Europe? Before we get into Cam Gill, how did the UFL experience for you compared to NFL Europe?
It was, not quite the same from the coaching. The coaches in NFL Europe were all professional, seasoned coaches. In the UFL, they have taken the route, since the new owner took over, Mike Rapoli, he took the route of hiring lots of ex-NFL football players with limited, sometimes almost zero coaching experience. So those kinds of hires win the press conference, but, the functionality of that is different. And so, that part of it was really different, being mixed in with that kind of coaching. There were some guys that were going from 0 to 100 on the learning curve. The talent that I coached was relatively the same everywhere except the offensive line.
Right.
And, that goes back to, 5-6 years ago, I was at the very beginning of this spring league adventure when I was in Birmingham with the AAF. It was the Alliance of American Football, which all of that has become the UFL. That's all, it went from the AAF to XFL, USFL, and now finally this. And, but what happened in the meantime, the NFL took their practice squads from 8 to 16. So they added 8 practice squad players to each squad. So 32 teams times 8, that's 240 football players that I did not have access to.
Yeah.
They were on the NFL rosters, and the bulk of those, surprisingly, were the offensive linemen. I mean, the offensive linemen were at a premium in the league in the UFL this year. They were hard to come by, and I'm talking about really, really good ones. And so that made for some interesting problems to solve. How you were going to run the football, how you were going to throw the football, all of those kinds of things. Because the wideouts, running backs, quarterbacks, by and large, linebackers, and particularly the defensive line were all about the same.
Okay.
So it was interesting, and it kept your curiosity up week to week. How are you going to solve the problems?
Well, you guys won. Was there a parade in Louisville?
I think there was, but I certainly didn't go because I was so exhausted when the final whistle blew on the championship game. I was on a jet plane and back home. The whole thing hubs out of Dallas.
Right.
So I was living in Dallas for 4 months, and when that plane hit the ground in Dallas, I was in my car headed east and drove 16 nonstop and got back home to try to recuperate. I'm still in a recuperation mode right now.
Well, hopefully the fish will be biting, because I know that's what you're going to head and do. All right, give me a scouting report on Cam Gill. I know your offense had to go up against him in practice, and although that's, it might be not necessarily the same, what can Panthers fans expect from Cam Gill?
Well, he's going to walk in, and he's going to be what you call a camp body. He's talented. He gave us an element of pass rush to pressure the quarterback without a blitz, which is a premium because he could defeat most of the offensive tackles in the UFL, but that's going to be a different problem for him in the NFL. So, but he's a talent. He's got speed, what you call speed to power, which he comes out of his stance violently, and then he can turn that speed into power on a straight bull rush. And he's got some good individual moves, and he led the league in sacks, and he was a force all year long for us, and one of the reasons that we won.
Look, you and I are old enough to remember the USFL. And I know they reconstituted the USFL, but it was obviously not the same. Back in the early 80s when the USFL proper was instituted, I think there were only 24 NFL teams, and now there are 32. But Sam Mills, Panthers legend, Reggie White, Jim Kelly, Kellen Bryant, Steve Young. There was incredible talent in the USFL back in the day. Did you see anything like that from UFL where, hey, I think these guys can not only be good NFL players, but maybe great NFL players?
I don't know that I mean, that, you're talking about the Kurt Warner type of idea, that came out of NFL Europe. And see, the USFL you're speaking to was created and with the intent of going head-to-head financially with the NFL. So the guys that you just mentioned were all being paid millions of dollars.
Yes, Herschel Walker.
To come to the USFL. So this is a different deal. NFL Europe was run by the NFL to give the bottom third of every roster a chance to go play 10 football games and become a seasoned veteran. So that was a different model. This model that we're dealing with right now, these are young men. I'll put it in perspective for you. We had 8 teams in the league. Let's say there's roughly 50 roster spots on every team, so there's 400 football players there. Well, I think last year and probably this year is going to be about the same. There's going to be about 35 to 40 young men that get a contract to go to camp to try to secure a roster spot this coming season. So 10%, okay, 40, let's say 40 football players out of the 400 are going to get a shot. Like 2 of my wide receivers from Louisville have signed already with the Vikings. And they will be competitive in camp. Now, that gets back to that thing. If the Vikings have already spent money on Johnny, the wide receiver, well, Billy, the wide receiver that's coming in, who they haven't invested in, might be just as good, but he won't make the team. So those are the dynamics that are in play with this idea. But the UFL is going to make it. I'm 100% sure it's going to make it with the owner that they've got in place, Mike Rapoli. He's a multi-billionaire, and he's committed to it, and the league will make it, because with what's going on in college football, like you and I talked about this morning, the craziness of college football, there's going to be a niche for young men to go into the UFL, and the UFL is going to begin to become a developmental ground for future NFL football players. That's 100%. That's going to happen. And that league, the UFL, is going to get better and better as time goes on.
Steve Logan is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. While I have you, let's talk about it, because you and I have had many, many conversations about what college football is likely to look like in the future, but we had these conversations 10 years ago, maybe even longer than 10 years ago. And by the way, you say you're done coaching? You're finished?
Brother, there is nothing left in the tank. I mean, I'm serious. This year it was very interesting. The first time I walked on the football field as a football coach was as an 8th grade head football coach at Union Junior High in Broken Arrow, Tulsa, Oklahoma. And I was, that was 1976. And I just finished the year 2026, and that's 50 years. And I was the oldest coach in the UFL this year. And I'm just telling you that, believe me, I enjoyed it, and I emptied the tank, literally, 4 straight months of 16-hour days, 7 days a week. And I called 12 football games, called every play for 12 football games, and the stress of that was – I always beat myself to death, calling a game, but I'm done. I mean, I enjoyed it, went out on a championship. It was kind of fairy tale-ish for me personally. But, 50 years, come on, man.
Right.
That's enough. So you're right. The fish, all the fish down here where I'm looking out at the ocean right now, they're in grave danger, and they don't know it.
Steve Logan is joining us here. First of all, I think it's hysterical that you were a head coach even for a junior high school team at age 10. All right, let me get to
No. I was 23.
Oh my gosh!
1976. I was 23, and so I'm 73 now. That's 50 solid years of either coaching or in the media market of football, one or the other for 50. That's enough. So I'm done.
All right, and I know your radio show is reconstituting.
Yes.
We will talk a lot about that going forward. I do want your thoughts on the landscape of the college game now, and how many conversations have how many hours have we spent talking about what college football is, what it needs to look like, and right now it is completely shattered. What they have done, what greed has done, and I mean I know players are getting money, and we could talk about player greed, but players probably are still underpaid based on what the sport generates. But what the conferences and what the presidents and what all of the people who are supposed to be in charge of the game have done to the sport, it is almost unrecognizable. Could you even imagine being a head coach today?
No, I couldn't. But let me back you up a little bit. You're right. Everything right now is a grab for talent and money. But, Adam, I want to remind everybody in the audience here, the original sin that created all of this was the almighty, absolutely evil setup of the NCAA. I'm going to back everybody up. If you take this thing back 15 years, if you take this thing back even 10 years, Adam, and Steve Logan is saying to the NCAA, hey, you got to pay these kids something.
Yep.
If the NCAA at this point, 10 to 15 years ago, would have said, you know what, you're right. We got to give these kids $50,000 a year. It would have never come to this.
Agreed.
Every football player, every basketball player, everybody, all the players would have gone, hey, this is great. They would have been satisfied, and they would have been compensated enough to keep things in some sort of order had the NCAA, and I can give you horror story after horror story of Steve Logan or anybody of my generation that was coaching, and I've told this story a million times where I had a young man whose grandmother died in Atlanta, Georgia, and the NCAA, oh, no, you can't help him go back to Atlanta to the funeral. Well, you know, I know, we know, everybody knows Steve Logan bought that plane ticket. And everybody knows that Steve Logan put him on a plane. Damn right I did. But you see what I'm saying?
Yep.
That's how archaic and insane and what's the word? Unpliable, no pliability, no ability to adjust, you know, to like, hey, there's some humanity involved here. Okay. But again, I'm just ranting, but I don't want anybody to ever forget all of this. You can lay it right at the doorstep of the NCAA for their asinine decision to hold fast to archaic, amateur rules that were put in place in the 1920s. Okay? And here we are 100 years later, and their obstinance is what caused all of this that we're involved with today. There you go.
No, you and I agree, because I said that a long, long time ago. And I remember when I found out, and I keep saying this, and I hope people aren't bored about what I'm about to say, but when I found out that scholarships initially didn't cover the full cost of attendance, and that the schools were going to make the athletes whole, and they were patting themselves on the back for that, I thought, wait a second. Because I honestly did not know that was the case. And I thought, why are we celebrating this? Like, at that point, everybody knew that the jig was up. And then, of course, the Supreme Court in Alston versus the NCAA, which wasn't even about athletics. It had nothing to do with that, but it brought athletics into it. And when it was 9-0 against the NCAA, which I'm pretty sure is like the only time we've ever had a 9-0 rout at the Supreme Court, that should have told the NCAA that we have to change our business model. But they did the opposite. They dug in and they lobbied Congress to try to give them an antitrust exemption, which is not coming, and they're not going to get a bill. And is the end result that we're ultimately going to see a separation from the other sports where football goes and does its own thing because it makes about 80% of the money?
I think it will, because that, you know, if you follow the money, that's what the money will do. And then, you know, you've even got the SEC right now, Greg Sankey, talking about breaking away from all the other schools, you know, which I don't know what that looks like or sounds like. But you have begun, in fact, 3 years ago, you know, again, Steve Logan I said, at some point, somebody's going to break that athletic department out and form an LLC.
Yep.
I didn't anymore get that out of my mouth than Kentucky did it.
Yep.
Okay, and I think the University of North Carolina just did it. And so, the LLC is the beginning of what you're talking about. There's going to be a separation to where football is going to go behave any way it wants to behave.
Right.
And quite honestly, the presidents of the university should secretly and privately be applauding this, because now when Johnny, the defensive tackle, goes out and does something incredibly stupid, okay,
right,
the president of East Carolina could care less. It's the LLCs. It's that section over there that's loosely associated with us. But that young man doesn't have any real – we don't have an investment in him. He doesn't have an investment in us. The LLC does, but North Carolina State doesn't.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And so, this is going to make it become what it always has been without the foolishness that's always surrounded it.
Let me ask you about the romance of it, and I'll let you go after this. Steve Logan, I don't know what the weather is like down at the beach, but you might want to get out and reel something in. But there's a romance to all sports, but I think college sports specifically, because these things are they're almost hereditary. If your parents are ECU fans, you're probably going to be an ECU fan. It is passed down, and I guess that happens in pro sports too. But we all know that pro sports is transactional. College sports was not built to be that way. So what have we lost as we move into this next phase of college? It's not just college football, because basketball is the same way, but football is just on a different scale. What have we lost in terms of, and I use the term romance. It's not like we're in love, although maybe we are, which is another issue altogether. But what have we lost with this new way of, I guess, dealing with college sports?
Well, there's a big word called altruism, and it has to do with the romance you're talking about. But what was surprising and revelatory to me was the booster at East Carolina, Duke, Wake, doesn't matter, Tennessee, the booster, they don't really care if the wide receiver has been at Tennessee 4 years, 3 years, 1 year, or if he got there last semester. Right. If the son of a gun will run a post route and catch a touchdown, the booster is still all in. That has been proven. That nobody really cares. Nobody really cares. It's tribal. The UNC people love UNC. They want UNC's football team to win, and they could care less who's actually underneath that jersey and helmet. Now that's a fact.
Yeah.
That's the way it is now. And so, with that being revealed, well, let's just move forward. And I think I read yesterday where North Carolina State has 40 to 50 brand new football players. Well, Wendell Murphy could care less if they go out there and win 10 games. That's the way this thing has evolved. It could be 100 new players. I don't care. They've got on North Carolina State jerseys.
Yep.
And they got the red and white on, and we're going to show up 50,000 strong in Carter Finley and have a good time if they win, and God help the head coach if they lose. And nothing's changed.
It is a whole new world, though. Steve Logan, I appreciate your time. I'm going to bug you, and I know your show's starting up, so you'll be willing to talk football with me. Always appreciate you, sir. Congratulations on going out. You made your last shot.
Yeah, we won a championship, and it was special. And I do, Adam, I've spent 3 years. I was a little ambivalent about starting my radio show over just in the eastern part of the state. But I would love to just tell the people in Raleigh it's amazing the people that tune in to YouTube and Spotify and all the things that all radio shows travel on now. And we've developed a really good audience. It's Logan Zone on YouTube or Spotify or any of that stuff. And we're live 5 to 7 on Saturday nights. on 96.3 and over in the East. But it travels on YouTube and all that other stuff, and the audience has been growing and growing. I'd love to visit with you from time to time throughout the year. It's good to hear from you.
You're a gentleman. I appreciate your time. Catch a big one.
Yeah, I will. Don't worry.
Man. Thank you very much.
Right.
Steve Logan here on the Adam Gold Show. All right, we got to place bets. We're going to stretch. Lots to do. Next hour, Lee Pace, who announced that he was retiring from basically his responsibilities with UNC football. 35 years? 35 years. We're going to talk to Lee Pace next hour, but we're going to wager next.
Questioning goalie interference calls since day one. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Did you know? Atlantic hurricane season runs through November. From gathering necessary supplies to planning an evacuation route, now is the time to make sure you and your family are prepared. And if a storm damages our electric system, local public power providers are ready to respond and restore power quickly and safely. As a public power customer, you benefit from having an electricity provider that restores power faster than other providers do. Visit electricities.com for storm preparation tips and resources.
You said you'd never buy your kid candy from the checkout aisle. Or forget extra diapers. And never give in to a meltdown. You'd never lick your thumb to clean their face. Never let them have too much screen time. And never bribe them for just one more bite. You say you'd never let them out in public without their hair brushed. Never, ever become a minivan mom. And you'd never give them your phone for a quiet dinner.
Calling boss work phone.
So when you say you'd never leave your child in a hot car, no, it can happen. Cars get hot fast, and kids can be at risk in temperatures as low as 60 degrees Fahrenheit. Never happens. Before you leave the car, always stop, look, lock. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
The North Carolina Healthcare Association invites you to listen to this month's podcast, Conversations on the State of Healthcare. We're delving into a new NCHA report titled More Than Medicine, the Economic Impact of North Carolina Hospitals. My guest is Josh Dobson, President and CEO of the North Carolina Healthcare Association.
Hospitals generated about $52 billion in economic impact last year, roughly 6% of the entire state's gross domestic product. They spent around $44 billion on operations and workforce expenses. And that spending does ripple outward into local economies. Hospitals are often among the largest employers in a region, especially rural communities. In fact, they're among the top 10 employers in 95 of North Carolina's 100 counties.
You can learn more and join our latest conversations on the state of healthcare wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. And find out more by visiting nchealthcare.org.
Your child's doctor shares your goals, a healthy future for your child. Doctors recommend vaccines throughout childhood because they protect what matters most: your child's future from preventable disease and serious illness. Discuss any questions you have and check that your child is up to date and talk about any concerns. You're right to have questions. Get real answers. Start a conversation with your doctor today. Visit vaccinesforkids.nc.gov. Paid for by NCDHHS.
If you want the nation's best auto insurer, look no further than North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Rated #1 in Crash Network's Insurer Report Card 7 years in a row, we're the only insurer in the nation to receive an A+ rating from auto body shops. Our philosophy is simple: be fair, be quick, be the best. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
Are you struggling with your Medicare drug costs? The NC Department of Insurance SHIP program may be able to help. The Extra Help and Medicare savings programs are available for those who qualify, but you have to apply. Contact SHIP today to see if you qualify. Visit ncshiip.com or call toll-free at 855-408-1212. SHIP provides free, unbiased help in all 100 counties.
Project supported by grants from the Administration for Community Living. Contents do not necessarily represent official views of, nor an endorsement by ACL, HHS, or the U.S. government.
One Adam. Gold. One Adam. Gold.
Person in front of me in line had a box of wine.
Oh, yeah. I feel that person. If you are buying boxed wine on a Friday, that thing is open right now.
In the car.
Yeah. I don't even need it to cool down.
She jammed a big straw right through the top of the box in the car.
Went to the gas station to get a cup of ice. Like, they don't even care.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. Max Gorin on the ones and twos today, thanks to Steve Logan. Been a fun show so far. Lee Pace, next hour. Also, Sporting News senior writer, college football guy, Bill Bender. It's talking season. SEC is either one more day or they're already done with their media day. Next week is the Big Ten. That's a big deal. I know Chip Patterson and company are going to be out there. So we'll always talk college football here on the Adam Gold Show. We got a lot of things to do, but next hour we got two big ones still left. Lee Pace talk about UNC football, plus golf in the Carolinas. We've got tons of guys written so many books about golf here in North Carolina. And we'll also talk to Bill Bender about college ball. So before we get to that, we have to wager, but first we have to stretch.
All right, this first story, luckily it's been kind of cooling down here in the Carolinas,
right.
But, you know, in the dog days of summer right now, these hot temperatures can be a lot to deal with. So a Japanese company is responding to the country's increasingly hot summer temperatures. It's hot over there as well.
Yes.
By unveiling a new human refrigerator. The Dohimon box.
Okay.
Is marketed as a human refrigerator, roughly the size of a standard Japanese vending machine, can fit one person at a time. The temperature inside the box is kept at 59 degrees.
I like that.
So
Good
you
temperature.
can get inside. The cold air is blasted at your head, neck, shoulders, and back. It is marketed by this company, Trusco Nakayama, for use at business and other public spaces among the summer heat. So they've already sent it to Maebashi City Hall in the Gunma Prefecture as a donation, and members of the public have been allowed to use it during opening hours. The current retail price for one of these Dohimon boxes is $9,326.25.
Small, 25 cents. Small price to pay.
Yeah,
so
could just have air conditioning, but why not get a human refrigerator instead?
So, I mean, I have questions. It's not like the real issue, because I'm sure they have air conditioning in Japan, no?
I assume so.
I know that there are places that we don't have air conditioning. Like, there are places in Europe where there is none, right? I get it. But, man, I'm at a loss because the real issue, if it's hot, the real issue is being outside.
Yeah. Though the company said it can help relieve symptoms of heat exhaustion, and is marketed for places where people work outside, such as construction sites.
All right.
Then again, you could just go inside where the air conditioning.
You could.
So
I guess
this is
that
just
would
more
be my choice.
kind of like maybe a more powerful solution for that. But
Yeah,
yes,
that would-
it's interesting. It's just like a metal box, the clear door, and you go and sit in and cool off.
Yeah, that would be my choice to go inside.
Have you ever seen the? I don't even know. I guess they had them at malls and some other kind of just like places, but like the hurricane simulators.
No.
I don't know if they have these anymore, but they used to have it. It would be a box, and you could pay like, whatever, $5 or whatever it was, and it would just blow, I guess, in hurricane force winds while you're in the box, so you could simulate a hurricane.
I like it.
They used to have it at like a children's museum or something when I was growing up, but I never actually did it.
Nor have I.
This was another story. This is from today. In Illinois, where a worker performing maintenance on a 130-foot tall gas station sign ended up stranded inside of it for hours. His lift malfunctioned.
Okay.
So this was in Wilmington, Illinois. I didn't even know there was a Wilmington there. But they had to go bring in a second lift to go and rescue him. It malfunctioned around 11 a.m. Eventually, they got him down to the ground just before 4 p.m. But he spent 4 or 5 hours just up there, 130 feet above the ground, while doing sign maintenance.
In Wilmington, what was the state again?
Wilmington, Illinois.
Okay. I believe I have this right. There are more Springfields in across like towns named Springfield than there is anything else in the United States.
I would believe that.
Yeah. That's
or
where.
Would you even bet on it?
I would bet on it. That's I believe in The Simpsons. That's why they chose Springfield as the city.
Place your bets. Place your bets. Here we are. I bet you slice into the woods $100.
Gambling is illegal in Bushwood, sir, and I never slide.
Okay, you can owe me. I owe you one.
All right, I don't remember if I won any wagers yesterday, but we should get at it today, Max. You go first.
Well, there's not really much else to bet on other than baseball. So I'm going to start off with the Red Sox getting back on track after their 15-game win streak was snapped. They start a series with the Toronto Blue Jays tonight. They're actually facing Trey Savage, formerly of East Carolina. But I'll go with the Red Sox at -126 at home up there at Fenway Park.
So I made one wager yesterday. It was Toronto and under 8.5. I have no idea what happened in the game because I didn't place it. And I'm not entirely sure I'm going to place any of these. But LeBron James signed with Philadelphia, right? The NBA Cup. The Sixers are plus 2,200 to win it. They're like the 5th or 6th choice. I'll take them. Early on in the season, before December's over, sure.
That's when all the futures value is found, way in advance.
Absolutely. So give me Philadelphia plus 2,200. NBA Cup champions.
You did win that, by the way, yesterday. Blue Jays won 3-1.
There you go. Should have bet it.
And I'll just go for a couple of home run hitters here. I'm going to San Francisco to visit a friend. We're going to go see the Giants tomorrow. But for tonight, I'll go with a Rafael Devers home run at plus 370.
I like it. A Rafael Devers home run. All right. By the way, did you know that Atlanta United is in talks to sign Briel Embolo and maybe Darwin Nunez, who both played in Europe. Darwin Nunez was at Liverpool until they got rid of him. I'd love to see more of these players who are still in their 20s.
Embolo had a good World Cup, too.
Until he faked that.
Until the dive, yes.
Until the dive, and then he got sent off, and everybody had kittens. But I will take a Charlotte FC New York Red Bulls draw tomorrow in New York, or I think they play in New Jersey, I think it's plus 280. Take a draw in that match. Want to see Charlotte FC kind of turn it on here in the, I guess it's the second half of the season. I don't even know.
They blew that game on Wednesday.
Yeah, it's terrible. All right, the Wall of Sound coming up.
His Zamboni is bigger than yours. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Excuse me, you think you could spare a square?
Sorry, what?
A square on your smartphone.
Oh, yeah, for the 99.9 The Fan app.
Exactly. Listen to your favorite hosts, teams, and live sports action.
The Carolina Hurricanes are the best team in the NHL. They won the 2026 Stanley Cup.
And every podcast episode at your fingertips, anytime, anywhere.
Available for Apple iPhone and Android phones. Download the 99.9 The Fan app today.
Rev up your summer at the Make This the Summer event going on now at John Heister Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Lillington. Grab summer adventures when you drive home a brand new 2026 Ram 1500 for 20% off. Excludes RHO. See dealer for details. Or expand your options for off-road exploration with a new 2026 Jeep Gladiator. Save 15% off during the Make This the Summer event. Plus, get 2.9% financing for 72 months. So get off your keister and get to John Heister Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Lillington today.
It's bow time. Ordering Bojangles Bow Bites is the easiest choice you'll make today. The bite-sized hand-breaded chicken is fried to crispy perfection, making it perfect for sharing, snacking, or when you're on the go. Just don't call it a nugget. The only hard part is choosing from our 6 dipping sauces. We've got a sauce for every kind of craving, from our creamy house-made ranch to our sweet and spicy peach honey pepper sauce. It all depends on what kind of mood you're in. Head to your nearest Bojangles today and discover the dippable, shareable, and craveable Bow Bites. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time. Time to head on over to Bojangles to try Bojangles' new Bow Bites. Bite-sized, hand-breaded chicken fried to crispy perfection. On the go, they're perfect for snacking or sharing. Dipped in your favorite sauce like creamy house-made ranch or peach honey pepper, they're the perfect way to satisfy your craving for flavor and value. Try Bojangles' new Bo Bites. It's an easy choice to make when it's bow time.
The wait is over. Football is back in North Carolina. Kick off the 2026 high school football season with High School OT at the High School OT Jamboree, Saturday, August 8th at First Horizon Stadium at Wake Med Soccer Park. See 10 of North Carolina's premier football programs take the field in one incredible afternoon and evening, featuring Wilson Hunt, Union Pines, J.H. Rose, Rollsville, Southeast Raleigh, Wake Forest, Cardinal Gibbons, Millbrook, Southern Durham, and Middle Creek. Whether you're cheering for your hometown team, scouting future college stars, or simply love Friday night football, this is the place to be. Gates open at 3. JV games begin at 4. Varsity matchups kick off at 5 p.m. Get your tickets today at highschoolot.com. The 2026 High School OT Jamboree, Saturday, August 8th, presented by High School OT and brought to you by Talk It Out NC, Wake Orthopedics, State Employees Credit Union, and the U.S. Army. Don't miss the kickoff to football season.
In World War I, American fighter pilots covering a plane's rear position coined the phrase, "I've got your six," to mean I've got your back. Through their service, veterans have our backs. Now we should have theirs. Learn more at gotyoursix.org using the number 6.
Leaves, water, debris. Hi, this is Holly with RoofWorks. There are a lot of things that can wreak havoc on your commercial property, and we are proud to be there for our dedicated customers that depend on us. From helping to design and build the roof for new construction, to maintenance, repair, and replacements, we've got the experience that you can count on. At RoofWorks, we don't want to be the biggest, we just want to be the best. Visit us at roofworks.com. That's roof, WERKS.com.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Getting hurt in a car wreck comes with all kinds of stress and frustration. But when you call me, I'll be on top of all of it. So all you need to worry about is getting better. If you've been injured in a car wreck, I'm on top of it. Contact us at ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Eagle Leasing Storage Studio. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Canes light the lamp here.
You're listening to The Adam Gold Show.
2-2. Inside out, base hit right field. Canales in. Cole Young races to the plate. Weston Wilson drives in 2 more. And the Mariners taking it to the Angels in the bottom of the 6th inning. It's 5-0.
That ball's crushed. Left field and deep. Simpson back. Gone. Way gone. Weston Wilson. And it's 4-0.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. Max Gorham producing the program today. So there are many of you going, why on earth is the Adam Gold Show bumping back with Seattle Mariners highlights? And what's the deal with Weston Wilson? Who's that? Who I believe played collegiately at Clemson. Rusty, one of the greatest human beings ever, who produces those hour opens every day for the show, that, Weston Wilson, is his nephew. Bet you didn't know that, Max. Maybe you did, because Rusty has said it out loud before.
I did not know.
Yeah, there you go. And it wasn't just because one of them, he drove in Cal Raleigh, who's not from Raleigh, but very interesting. He played Florida State, by the way. But there you go, Weston Wilson, Clemson guy, and Rusty's nephew. Pretty useful big leaguer. Real quick, you mentioned Boston in the Place Your Bets. They did have their 15-game winning streak snapped in the second game of a doubleheader against Baltimore. I mean, 2 months ago, they were one of the worst teams in baseball. And they were
1 month ago, they were probably one of the worst teams in baseball.
That's what happens when you win 15 in a row. It's not like they won 15 in a row and they're 10 over. They're still, I think, just 3 games over 500, something like that. So
I think they got up to 52 and 48 before the second game on Wednesday. So 3 games over 500.
But they're a playoff team right now. Right now, if you're over 500 in the American League, you're a playoff team. That's the way it is. And it's not dramatically different in the National League. I think and I haven't looked at it in the last couple of days, I think like 6 games over 500, I believe, was the cutoff point in the National League to make a playoff spot. There are better teams in the National League than there are in the American League. But for all of and we're not going to get into it here, but for all of the baseball needs this, and I know there's a pending labor problem. If you look at the lowest payroll teams right now in baseball, you'll see a bunch of division leaders and playoff teams. And I've said this forever. Salary cap doesn't do what you think it does. It's not designed to do what you think it does. The salary caps are not designed for competitive balance. But they tell you that because for whatever reasons, fans support billionaires over the athletes. And I have no idea why. But salary caps do not equal competitive balance. Baseball has got plenty of competitive balance. It's not about that. And honestly, they're just mad that 2 teams spend ridiculous amounts of money. Only one of them wins. Because the Dodgers spend money the right way and enhance their team as opposed to try to create their team by spending money. Like the Mets, it does not work. All right. Should we do the Wall of Sound?
The Wall of Sound is a function of this studio. There's no doubt about it.
Real quick, I hate to just bring this up because we'll talk about it at some point during the summer. The talking point about what a salary cap does now is how it enhances franchise values. That's great, right? Max, you're a sports fan, right? We look at the Forbes list. The Seattle Seahawks, I think, were just sold for like $6-point-something billion, right? It's the Seattle Seahawks. We could talk about that. Well, that's what the salary cap has done. No, that's what the NFL has done. And Major League Baseball's franchise valuations have not progressed like other leagues. And here's my question. What does that matter to you, the fan, or to the player? Why should the players care what franchise values are? It's not like they're going down. I mean, no franchise value has dropped in professional sports unless the team goes under. And when was the last time a team went under? Not in the 4 major sports. Anyway, again, they're moving the conversation because it has nothing to do with competitive balance. Nothing at all. It's all about salary depression. The only thing it's about. All right, to Pat Jones, who, if you're the Panthers, you hope that Pat Jones can, I hate to say, take advantage of Nick Scorton's injury, but he will be expected to do that. And here's a veteran player watching a young guy go down.
It's not fun. Me personally, I know how that feels last year, especially when you feel like you're about to have a big year and then something like that happens. So all you can really do is just be there for him and just really just help him out as much as you can.
All right, now, a lot will be expected of him now, especially after all he's been through. Here's Pat.
I'm hoping to show more. Really just come out healthy and just show everybody what I could really do. I was in Minnesota for a long time behind a lot of great players most of my career, so it felt like last year was like my chance to really show everybody. And I felt like when I started to heat up, that happened. So it kind of hit me at like a hard time, and it was hard for real.
All right, now the head coach, Dave Canales, knows that Jones will have to show a lot, and obviously we all know what happened last year. Here's the head coach.
Pat's got versatility because he can play first and second down, but he also has inside and outside rush ability on third down and in known pass situations. It's something he's done for a while in his career. That's really valuable. So Pat will be out there. It's just a question of how we mix in the rest of the group.
That's the one we couldn't find for. I'm like, no, he's not calling for it again. Good job.
His name's buried in it. That's why I couldn't find it before.
Good job finding it. All right, now we had mentioned earlier, we talked to Steve Logan. The Panthers signed Cam Gill. Cam Gill was the Defensive Player of the Year in the UFL in the spring. That's that spring football league developmental league. So Dave Canales refers to him as well as the other guys who are going to be expected to kind of pick up the slack from Scorton's injury.
Just great to have guys that we know us, helps out on special teams, things like that. So, between, and I'll address it too here, but between Cam and Travis Gibson, Thomas Incoom, guys that we know and guys that are familiar with what we're doing. Princely being asked to step up into a major role, what am I getting to, right? It's Nick Scorton, right? And, just a horrible loss for us just as a guy, as a leader, as a young guy to be able to be a leader because of how he represents himself. And he tore his ACL yesterday. He'll have surgery pretty quickly, I think in the next couple of weeks, and start his rehab. So, but all the guys are supporting him. We have guys who have been through this, and, they've all just said, we got him, and we'll be following along with him.
Look, I hope that this doesn't derail them. I sincerely do, because I really thought that Nick Scorton, to me, looked like he was going to really be a player based on what we saw last year. So this will delay that by a season. You got Jalen Phillips on one side. Maybe it'll be Princely Umanmielen. Maybe it'll be Pat Jones. Who knows? Maybe it'll be Cam Gill. Maybe it'll be somebody else who's not even on the roster yet. But somebody's going to have to fill the void on the other side. On the other side of the ball, Teterow and McMillan, year 2.
Anything new that you start, you obviously tiptoeing into it. You're not really very confident. I feel like I'm a lot more confident just, in my speed, my mind, just confident in Bryce and the play calling and my teammates. So I feel like that's one thing that I would have told myself last year is just, just be confident. You don't have to do everything. You just be you.
Look, I loved him last year. I thought when he came out of Arizona, the rep was he caught everything that was in his radius, right? And I thought he had some drops last year. He had some balls that he probably should have caught, and he admitted it, that he didn't, and there's an adjustment period. I'll bet you that he is one, let's see, think he could be a top 10 wide receiver in the NFL this year, Max?
Yeah, if everything went right. I mean, if you're offensive rookie of the year, you got to figure that ceiling is pretty high.
There's a lot of great wide receivers. It's tough to be a top 10 wide receiver in the league, right? But I think he can be. And I think if Bryce
that's the thing.
Step.
It would require Bryce to continue progression for that to be a possibility, which seems possible. I mean, he's gotten better every year, so.
No doubt about that. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, for 35 years, Lee Pace has been on the sidelines for UNC football. He's written books about it. He's written books about golf. Earlier this week, he said it's over. More time with his family, more time on the golf course. Lee Pace, I think for the first time on this show, joins us next.
Asheville to Wilmington, Boone to Durham, The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Listen every afternoon for The Drive with Tim Donnelly.
Don't look now, but the Carolina Panthers are actually, get ready for it, getting some love. There's going to be some hype. There's going to be some expectations this year. Top 5 defensive tackle Derek Brown. Top 100 players, 4 of them. It is time for everybody to gather around and get ready that there might be some high stakes for the Panthers this season.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 3 to 6 on 99.9 The Fan.
If you have a 2, 3, or 4% mortgage rate, don't refinance it. You don't have to, but you can still get cash out of your home. Introducing Loan Pronto's zero-cost equity loan. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. That's right. With Loan Pronto, you can get all the cash you need without touching your first mortgage and without any fees. One local homeowner just got $100,000, paid off all their credit cards, paid off their existing HELOC, remodeled their kitchen, and saved over $1,500 per month. It gets better. There's no hard credit pull up front, usually no appraisal, no long drawn-out process, and listen, no closing costs. You may be able to even skip your next 2 house payments. Call Loan Pronto now. Leave your low-rate mortgage intact, but get the cash you need in as little as 2 weeks without paying closing costs. LoanPronto.com. See how much you can get right now. Call 919-381-1760. That's 919-381-1760. LoanPronto.com. For qualified homeowners, equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Yeah. Can you pass me a Baja?
A what?
Mountain Dew Baja Blast.
try it. It's tropical at first, then the lime flavor hits.
Oh, okay. That's crisp. Tastes like vacation.
Right?
Mm-hmm. And it's mine now.
Have a Baja Blast.
Right now at Circle K, buy a 20-ounce Mountain Dew and get another for just $1. Do the Dew at Circle K today.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
ZipRecruiter. I will be right by your side.
Women can have it all, including heart attacks. But symptoms like jaw pain, nausea, unusual fatigue, dizziness, and backache are often different and more subtle than for a man. The fact is, heart disease is the #1 killer of women. Know the signs. Learn more at getheartchecked.org. From Women's Heart Alliance, in partnership with Women Heart.
Progressive's Home Quote Explorer helps you easily find and buy the right coverage for you. It's everything you've always wanted. Well, I mean, as far as a website that lets you shop, quote, and buy insurance in one place. But hey, maybe that is everything you've always wanted. Yeah, people have different types of dreams. And if all you've ever been searching for is a website that helps you choose home insurance rates and coverage, boy, do we have great news about Progressive's Home Quote Explorer. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
Gold. Gold.
I told Jack in the car, you know what the word of the year is? He goes, what? I said it's 6'7". He just laughed.
I know.
It just means nothing, and that's fantastic that it's now the word of the year. What a country.
Can we bring back cool story, bro? That way, us millennials can be like, yeah, cool story, bro. I would love
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Max Gorham producing the program today. It's hard to believe I am approaching the 29th year that I have been in town. Like when we get to, let's just say April 1st, and we're a long way away from April 1st, by the way. That will be 29 years for me in this market. I have listened a lot to Lee Pace on the sidelines at UNC football, but I'm not entirely sure he's ever been on the show, which is embarrassing for me, but he is now because he called it a career, at least a UNC football sideline reporting career earlier this week, and I reached out, and Lee Pace joins us on the Adam Gold Show. I've joked with a lot of people who have come on for the first time, and I'm pretty sure this is, I call it your first cap. We've just finished the World Cup. When you play for your national team, it's called a cap. So thanks for doing this. I'm sorry I haven't reached out before. How are you? I'm sure you're content with what you have accomplished with 20-some-odd books on football and golf in the Carolinas. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing great, Adam. I guess I had to retire to get an invitation, but that's okay. Better late than never.
That's on
I appreciate you having me on. It's just a pause right now from the radio stuff right now. I will never totally retire because I enjoy writing and producing content about sports and golf and so many other things. So I'm just reorganizing my priorities right now. It's a good time to do that.
No doubt about it. All right, let me ask you about, because again, I've been here almost 30 years, and I have, like a lot of other people, we have heard the sleeping giant stuff, right, about UNC football. But we have had eras where it looked like it was about to turn. The before Mac Brown left for Texas, that was as good a collection of certainly defensive, but there were great offensive players here too. There were so many good players in that era. We can get to Butch Davis as well. What's your theory? Do you have a theory on this, or do you want to just talk about how great those Mac Brown teams were at the end?
Well, you go back before Mac Brown 1.0, you go back to Bill Dooley and Dick Crum. Every coach who has been at Carolina just about has had, a little era of a little taste of greatness, and you always hoped or thought that they may be able to sustain it, but something comes along and just knocks the legs out from under them. And I posted on Twitter today. Two of the eras that stand out the most in my mind is those great defenses of 96 and 97, where they allowed 11.5 points a game over 2 years. And then the Sam Howell, Drake May offenses from 2019 to 23. Drake's 2 years as starter, Carolina averaged 35 points a game and nearly 500 yards a game. So the missing piece has been able to put that kind of offense and that kind of defense together on the same team. No telling what those 22 and 23 teams might have been if they'd been able to stop somebody, but they just weren't able. And that's the $64,000 question: is can the Tar Heels ever get to where they're really, really great on both sides of the ball at the same time?
Lee Pace, by the way, on Twitter at Lee Pace Tweets, joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. Well, Mac Brown was the coach of both of those teams. And obviously, one was like massively good defensively, and the other had, supreme quarterback talent. Howell, a better college quarterback, obviously, than he was a pro, although I really think that he had a chance to be a decent pro, maybe a career backup, and who knows, he's certainly not too old. But defensively, those Mac Brown teams were amazing. That was right before I got here. I am curious your thoughts. And University of Texas got in the way of Mac Brown 1.0. But what's your read on what could have been with Butch Davis?
It's funny. Everett Withers was at practice last August, I think.
Okay.
And he was kind of reminiscing. He was Butch's defensive coordinator for all of those years except the first one. And he was very complimentary of what Bill Belichick was trying to do with their scouting department, with the nutrition, with the conditioning, with everything going on. But he said, that's what we were trying to do 15 years ago. And that's what we were putting together. And, there's so many what ifs looking back over a lifespan of Carolina football. But if Marvin Austin had not launched that tweet back in 2010, no telling what that program might have done, because Butch was the consummate CEO. He had an ability to instill respect and a little bit of fear in his players. And he, with the exception of John Blake, he had just a great staff of assistant coaches. They were all really good, sharp people. They got along well with the kids. They worked hard, and there were some really terrific wins over that era. And you just wonder what might have been if that 2010 season had not been derailed.
Yeah, he also had the ability to evaluate and find players who were below the radar that could elevate. He did that famously at Miami. And you mentioned the Marvin Austin tweet. For people who might not know, it was just a rap lyric that he tweeted out that ultimately brought the whole thing down. In retrospect, and maybe this is just, years of hindsight, in retrospect, maybe the university should have stood behind him rather than look to scapegoat him, and maybe they would have really still maintained some very good football. Butch Davis certainly knew what he was doing in terms of building out a roster. Lee Pace is joining us here. So, you've been around 35 years, so this even predates I guess it's kind of the beginning of the Mac Brown era. But this is not just it's like a professional 35-year relationship you have had with UNC football. What are the indelible memories that you have had covering the sport? I know your book, by the way, I was looking at one of the sites, Football in a Forest, is like that's on so many coffee tables all around the Triangle. What are your indelible memories of UNC football?
Well, Adam, what started it all was in the late 80s. I quit my last full-time job and just wanted to be a freelance writer, publisher, designer, broadcaster, anything in communications. And so I established a couple of niches with things that interested me. Number one was golf in the Carolinas, and the other was Carolina athletics. Dean Smith's, the bandwagon was already jam-packed at that time, so there really wasn't a niche for me. And I did a profile of Mac Brown in 1988 when he first came to Chapel Hill for the Alumni Review. Interviewed him, interviewed a couple dozen people around him, and I said, this is going to be pretty good. And so even though 2-10 to start with in 1990, I still knew where the program was going to go. And so that's when I created Extra Points, which this was long before the internet. So this was a printed 4-page newsletter published weekly during the season because I wanted to tell the story that wasn't being told. And so seeing that program evolve, that was where it all started. And those are my fondest memories of just seeing that program evolve back when there was still some purity to the game. There are so many players on those 1990s teams that I've got numbers and can reach out and contact anytime I want, just because you had a chance to get to know people over 2 or 3 years. Just some terrific assistant coaches on that staff. And that was what I signed up for. And that's what I thought, everybody close to the program believed that, Dean was good, that Mac was going to do for football what Dean had done for basketball. And, that's what the vision was. And unfortunately, as you mentioned, the University of Texas came along, and I'd never blamed Mac for taking that job. I thought that was a great move for him. That was something that he should have done. And unfortunately, the Tar Heels just lost a lot of momentum in the transition.
Yeah, and it went through about a 10-year period. Carl Torbush, who was actually fired twice. I made that joke at the Chapel Hill Sports Club one time. I know Dick Bedore fairly well, and he and I have a great relationship. And I just joked at the Chapel Hill Sports Club that he fired Carl Torbush twice, and he didn't appreciate the joke, but it's all right. It's kind of true. And then John Bunting, who loved the university so much, just couldn't figure out how to best get enough talent and put the program in the right position. And then Larry Fedora was good for a hot minute, but they really just haven't been able to sustain it. Real quick, because I want to ask you one more thing about golf before we have to go. Lee Pace is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. Regardless of what all the craziness from last year, it does appear that Bill Belichick is adapting more to the college game now and the relationship aspect of it, and maybe more of the coaching. You can't do what you did in the NFL. I know you're not there now, but what's your sense of how year 1 to year 2 might go?
Well, I have been impressed from the very beginning by his hand.
Oh,
hard coach. Okay. One-on-one with these players. During the football season on Sundays, he single-handedly runs a practice for the younger players. They call it Sunday Night Football. The assistant coaches are in the building putting the game plan together. He is out there coaching. You see him in practice. He is literally...
Did we lose? We lost. I'm bummed. All right, we're going to have to do this again. Oh, no, you're back. You're back, Lee.
Rainy days sometimes. We seem to have... Anyway, to condense it, Bill is very much involved. He is hands-on. His coaching acumen is coming through, and he's a very smart man, and I just think that he is going to have learned from all the things that they just did not know how to go about doing that first year.
All right, you have written more books about golf in the Carolinas than any human being on this planet. So I'm going to ask you, and I'm springing this on you here. Give me your favorite golf course in North Carolina.
Whenever I'm answer that, it's a two-pronged question. My favorite classic course, old school, would be Old Town in Winston-Salem. And my favorite of contemporary or modern course would be Old Chatham, just between Durham, Raleigh, and Chapel Hill. Both of them are outstanding venues, great ambiance, terrific environments, and they are pure golf-only environments.
And by the way, John Marino at Old Chatham would be very happy you said that. Best par 3 in the state is where?
Country Club of North Carolina, the Dogwood course, the third hole, which was one of the original island greens in the state of North Carolina, opened in 1963, I believe. Wonderful hole. It's a little walkway going out there, but it's like the 17th at Sawgrass. You gotta hit the green.
Best clubhouse in North Carolina, Lee?
Oh, best clubhouse. That'd have to be Eagle Point, I believe, down on the coast.
Unbelievable.
Billy Armfield, a Carolina guy, designed that, and that's just a wonderful ambiance there. A balcony overlooking the 18th hole. I don't partake of them myself, but I understand the transfusions are very popular at Eagle Point.
Very nice. All right, you'll come back?
Absolutely, if we have anything to talk about. Fine, but we'll do some more golf.
We'll figure it out. Lee Pace, I appreciate your time. Congratulations on 35, I know, thrilling years for you, man. I'll talk to you soon.
Good, I appreciate it. Have a great weekend.
You got it. At Lee Pace Tweets on Twitter. We'll break. We'll come back. Bill Bender, Sporting News, talking season in college football. It's a great season. Next.
His Zamboni is bigger than yours. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end.
The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
Bluebell Chocolate Lava Cake is a mountainous eruption of flavor. Classic vanilla ice cream loaded with rich chocolate cake pieces, rivers of chocolate sundae sauce, chunks of dark chocolate, and a deep fudge swirl. Prepare yourself for an earth-shaking experience.
The good old days are being made right now.
The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell ice cream at your local grocer and pick up your favorite flavor today.
Are you struggling with your Medicare drug costs? The NC Department of Insurance SHIP program may be able to help. The Extra Help and Medicare savings programs are available for those who qualify, but you have to apply. Contact SHIP today to see if you qualify. Visit ncshiip.com or call toll-free at 855-408-1212. SHIP provides free, unbiased help in all 100 counties.
Project supported by grants from the Administration for Community Living. Contents do not necessarily represent official views of, nor an endorsement by ACL, HHS, or the U.S. government.
As the health director in Haywood County and a nurse here in North Carolina, I can tell you that the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline saves lives.
No matter your struggle, you are not alone. The 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is free, private, and always available.
988 Lifeline counselors are ready 24/7 to speak with you, help you cope, and get you connected to the support that is right for you.
988, the National Suicide and Crisis Lifeline.
Call, text, or chat 988 24/7. Brought to you by the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services.
Talking about guns with others might not always feel comfortable, but it could save a life. Here's a way to start a conversation. Your family is going over to your neighbor's home for dinner for the first time. How would you ask if there are any unlocked guns in the home?
Hey, we're so excited for tonight. Before we come over, may I ask a few questions?
Yeah, of course.
Do you have any pets?
Yes, we have a dog.
Great. Do you have a pool outside?
Nope, just a big old backyard.
Nice. Another question. Are there any unlocked guns in the home?
Our guns are stored securely, locked in a safe that the kids can't access.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Now, let's just talk about what we can bring for dessert.
Learn how to have the conversation at agreetoagree.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the Ad Council.
If you want the nation's best auto insurer, look no further than North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Rated #1 in Crash Network's Insurer Report Card 7 years in a row, we're the only insurer in the nation to receive an A+ rating from auto body shops. Our philosophy is simple: be fair, be quick, be the best. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
Did you know? Atlantic hurricane season runs through November. From gathering necessary supplies to planning an evacuation route, now is the time to make sure you and your family are prepared. And if a storm damages our electric system, local public power providers are ready to respond and restore power quickly and safely. As a public power customer, you benefit from having an electricity provider that restores power faster than other providers do. Visit electricities.com for storm preparation tips and resources.
This is Adam Gold.
Well, if I'm watching the Panthers game and it's going real bad, many times it does.
I punish them by not watching
I'm
them.
a disappointed mother.
Yeah.
Like, what are you what are you doing? So, yeah, I realize it's not going to change the game, but it makes me feel better. And, you know.
There were other factors at play there, but for the most part, I punish them. I will not watch you.
The Adam Gold Show.
Bill Bender from Sporting News is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show, senior writer at Bill Bender 92, because it is talking season in college football. I think talking season is awesome. It's not better than the actual season, but it's probably more entertaining. The SEC is going to break away, form their own galaxy, right?
Yeah. Hey, no, I don't think so. Hey, thanks for having me on as always. I think what they want is they're threatening that because they want their own set of rules,
right?
Or a set of rules that levels the playing field. Not levels it, just makes it uniform between the Power Four. Because, and I always say, like, this is a sport where we weren't all playing 9 conference games together until like this year.
Yeah.
So it is a. It's a lot of the old apples and oranges comparison to me, and I think they do. Every conference is going to put their banner up and say, "Hey, we're the best, and here's why." I just think with the SEC, the panic move is, man, you haven't won one in a couple years, and they're not used to that, and that's probably a little uncomfortable.
Oh, I don't think there's any question that they're looking around going, we haven't even played for one in the last 3 years. So to me, they're looking around going, we don't really know what's up at this point. But here's the thing. First of all, I wish the ACC didn't go to 9 because the ACC made their lives so much more complicated by going to 9 conference games. We'll get into some of those ACC things. But based on the most recent, discussions, they're looking to tack on like an additional $25 million to the cap. Look, I don't think anybody wants a level playing field. I think everybody wants what benefits them. And I think they couch it in a level playing field because there's never been a level playing field in college football.
Oh, you said it right there. Nailed it. Because level playing field means to somebody in where I'm at in Columbus means something far different than it does to somebody in Evanston, Illinois. Level playing field. And here's the other thing. I was just thinking about it with the SEC. The dirty secret of college football is like you want 1 or 2 programs at the top of your conference that are just better than everybody else.
Yep.
For how long it's a debate, like you would like for it to be cyclical, but, ACC-wise, like if you ask people in charge of that league, maybe Jim Phillips privately, I'm not going to pin this on Jim, but
sure.
If you ask him, hey, truthfully, do you like Florida State and Miami at the top of that league? They'd probably say yes.
Yeah.
Like for a long time, like 90s Florida State. Big Ten, we're just so accustomed, and I'm in the bubble, but Ohio State's been dominant most of my, if not my entire adult life. The SEC doesn't have – Georgia's really good. Georgia's closest thing to it. And they've won multiple national titles. I think they're their dominant program, but to me, and I don't know if you feel the same way, it's not quite as dominant as that Nick Saban machine at Alabama that hovered over college football for 15 years.
Nope, not even close. Not even close. And that was the old era before the portal and NIL, right? And if you look back, it was Alabama and Clemson was, I think, pretty close to them. If you look at everything that those schools accomplished in the what do we call them? The it's not the aughts, it's the teens, I guess. The 2010 through 2019. That run, Alabama was a little bit better than Clemson, but those two universities separated themselves from everyone, including an Ohio State. Bill Bender from Sporting News is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. I was actually talking to a former coach today, former ECU coach, Steve Logan. And he and I have been talking about this for a long time. I think college football has been broken for a long time. They've just been putting Band-Aids on it. I wish they would stop asking Capitol Hill to bail them out. It's never going to happen. Right. To me, it only fixes itself when it separates. That's the only recourse, because we're not going to become ungreedy. And greed has ruined it. So it's got to change. It's got to look more like the NFL. Otherwise, I think it's going to go away. How do you see the future?
Yeah, the NFL model works in a lot of ways. I don't love – I get, but I don't love the idea of a 2014 playoff, but I understand the mechanism behind it is, hey, we're paying for players. We need something in return for our investment. We can say, hey, we made the second round of the playoff. It worked. But whereas when you're sitting at home watching a 12-teamer, that's a little bit tougher. The financial model's the part. I was not an economics major. I struggled in Econ 101 in college, but I had a tough professor, man. But
hey, I get it.
Yeah. So the financial model concerns me. How sustainable is it? How long can we do this way? When, the other night, David Gabriel George, a Tennessee running back, reported NIL deal $2 to $3 million a year.
Right.
I mean, that's more. I didn't check NFL running back salaries, but that tops that, and the kid hasn't stepped on the field yet. That's the kind of stuff that I think we need to curb a little bit.
Yeah, the money's clearly there. I mean, you're probably right that it's unsustainable, but we keep saying it's unsustainable, and then money keeps going up. And I do wonder, because I do believe that we're going to head to a breakaway. We can call it a super league, but it's not just going to be the SEC and the Big Ten. I think we are going to look at a college version of the National Football League, in which everybody's in the same pool. However many teams, let's say 64 teams. We have 8 divisions, all of that. And all the schools make a lot more money than they do. Because I do think that it is the second most popular TV sport behind the NFL. That's college football. I just don't know how long it's going to take to get there. And I don't think, is that going to include any schools from Mississippi when we get to that point? Because if they're going to make these decisions, they're going to make it to maximize dollars.
Yeah, I mean, and when you look at the pool of teams, when you include Notre Dame in it, you're dealing with about 68 schools in the Power Four, including Notre Dame, that can be serious about it. And even in those 68 schools, there are gaps. There are some considerable gaps. And I think that's what I'm wondering. To me, there's probably about 40 to 50 that can really play this way.
Right.
On this field, this way. And I like your idea about, the funny thing is when you present 8 divisions of 8, it's they'll probably just go back to the regional conferences that we used to have that made more sense, because it's more fun to play your neighbor. And then I always did it this way, is living in Ohio. You want to beat your neighbor first, and then you see how you do against everybody else. And I think college football needs to get back to that on some level, with the understanding that it's a national game now. One thing Greg Sankey isn't relaying properly is, if they did an SEC-only league, and I'm sure you guys are the same way. I had buddies that didn't watch the Georgia-Alabama title games here in Ohio because they just didn't care.
Right.
That's 2 SEC teams. I don't care. And I'm sure people down in the South were like, I'm not watching Ohio State, Notre Dame. I don't care about that game. Those are 2 Big Ten and Midwest schools. So you still need to have the regional feel to it.
No doubt about it. And I think actually our friend Mike DeCourcy did point out on Twitter, because he can't stop, even though he's retired, that they probably, if the SEC went and did their own thing, they would probably be leaving behind roughly half of the audience. They don't, I mean, I think we realize that, but like in SEC country, they think they hung the moon. Again, that would be good if they got back to a national championship game. What'd you make of Bill Bender of Sporting News is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show? What'd you make of Lane Kiffin's apology for his comments in Vanity Fair? But he's right. We are all going to die. So he was certainly right when he got to that point.
Well, I've watched Predator enough times. That's when Billy in Predator says, lets everybody know we're in trouble when we're seeing that guy. I haven't watched that movie entirely too many times. But the social media timing, I wrote about this for us yesterday. He said he got off social media because of his son, and I looked at his feed, and he gets off social media the day of the Vanity Fair article. He retweets it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. This is probably a good time to log off.
Exactly.
And from a life lesson, I love it. Like it's cool. I mean, I work every day to try to scroll on my phone less. I've been, especially of late, and it's hard. So you want to do that. I think no matter what he said on the podium, the pressure, this is his defining moment as a coach. Like we can get into Tennessee, USC, the Raiders, FAU, Alabama, whatever, even the fantastic job he did at Ole Miss.
Yeah.
But this is it. This is, hey, can you go win a national title? 3 of the last 4 guys that coached there won one. Brian Kelly struggled there. It's a both amazing job from a resource standpoint and a very tough place to coach. So we're going to see how Lane handles it. I think I always tell people he is much better on social media and much more entertaining on social media than he is in real life. But that didn't mean he had a couple good one-liners on the podium yesterday. He's a good nonverbal guy, too. He talks with his eyes a lot. So we'll see, though. It's not going to make it any easier when they go to Ole Miss on September 19th. I can't think of a game, Adam, where there's going to be that much emotion both ways than that I can think of in a long time. With a coach coming back to because it's so soon.
Yeah.
It's like it would be like if Shire left Duke for North Carolina and they played in the 3rd game of the season. Can't imagine that. Not that I'm trying to get anybody riled up on the phone, but it's that kind of setting. It's wild. I can't. It's been a long time since I've seen one of those.
It is going to be fun, and there will be extra security needed for Lane Kiffin. Bill Bender, Sporting News, joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. So the ACC has a new tiebreaker. That was fun because 8-1 and 7-2 could be tied. And I find that almost impossible to comprehend. But if 8-1 is tied with 7-1 and 7-1 is tied with 7-2, then 8-1 and 7-2 logically would be tied, except we know the opposite. I actually argued, and I said this to Michael Strickland in Charlotte last week. I said, you probably should have just said, we're going to do what's best for the league, and everybody will just deal with it. He laughed. And I think he secretly probably thought I was right.
For sure. This is how you can put all the tiebreakers out there you want. But like last year, for example, I whether the teams like it or not, they should submit to, I think Jim Phillips should have been able to have the power to say, you know what, we're sending Miami there. We know the tiebreakers. We know all these tiebreakers, but hey, we're sending Miami there. Because it's better. And it also calls into question, to me, the more playoff teams you put in, the less value these conference championship games have. You can play your games, and you get to 12 games, and we can go from there. But, I mean, there's been funky tiebreakers. I grew up, growing up in Central Ohio, I remember a Big Ten without a conference championship game, and you were used to it. Hey, they split the title 3 ways, but Wisconsin beat them, and this goes all the way back to 1973, which I know when you talk about tiebreakers, Bo Schembechler and Woody Hayes probably still hear this from the 73 season when Michigan beat Ohio State, or they didn't beat them, they tied. They literally tied. Mm-hmm. And the Big Ten voted to send Ohio State to the Rose Bowl because the Michigan quarterback Dennis Franklin broke his collarbone. And that thing, they did a documentary on it on the Big Ten Network. It's outstanding. The players, the coaches on both sides, it was, when they did this documentary, it was like 50 years later. They're still not over it. It's that kind of thing.
It sounds a little bit like what the committee did to Florida State a few years back. Bill Bender. Look, here's the thing. I mean, when you have 17 teams, and this is why I go back to, I think the ACC is foolish for succumbing to the pressure and going to non-conference games. I think it's fundamentally idiotic to deliberately have some teams in your league play less conference games than the other. I don't know why that, like, what would be the crime in staying at 8? I just don't see the problem because the SEC's at 9, because the Big Ten's at 9. I just don't see why you'd have to go there. I mean, it's all about how many, I guess, Power 4, A4 games you play. The ACC overschedules themselves outside of the league. They play more good conference games, non-conference games than they should. I don't understand why they bowed to this pressure.
I haven't heard this take, and it's a good one. That's why I like talking to you, because I think scheduling and logistics and those kind of things becomes a nightmare when you have 18 teams or more.
Yeah.
To me, the Big Ten, you can see it. Right now, the thing that jumps out to me is you take Penn State and Michigan, for example, this year. Penn State, Matt Campbell, first-year coach. Kyle Whittingham, Michigan, first-year coach. One of those guys has to play Oregon, Indiana, and Ohio State, and the other guy doesn't have to play any of them. So it tells me right there Penn State will probably have a better record. And, when you have that imbalance and this confusion and tiebreakers, I had not thought of that with the ACC because to me it's like a default setting. Okay, everybody's playing non-conference games now, but I understand your point because to me that ninth conference game for a lot of ACC schools is like Louisville, Kentucky, Florida State, Clemson, South Carolina. Those are like extra conference games. And it gives them less freedom to maybe schedule somebody else to excite the fan base. Like if you're Louisville, for example, you're playing 9, you're playing Kentucky, and for them this year, they're playing Ole Miss in the opener.
Yep.
Makes it a little bit tougher playoff path on one hand, but if you win those games, the reward is significant.
Yeah, that's true, and that's fine. And the ACC has not won enough of those games, which is what even before we got to 9, I've been arguing forever that why do you keep doing this? There's no mechanism. A great non-conference schedule doesn't give you the benefit of the doubt. The voters and the committee only looks at win-loss unless we are breaking a tie for some reason. And I go back, and this is not whether or not Indiana was great 2 years ago. They obviously were. But literally, you could have looked at the Big Ten standings, started at the bottom, worked your way to the top, and when you got to 9, that would be the end of Indiana's conference schedule. They literally played the worst collection of Big Ten teams, had the worst non-conference schedule I've ever seen from a Power 5 league, and they still made the playoff. They were good, obviously, but there's no mechanism for rewarding you for a good non-conference schedule. It doesn't exist.
We need some sort of. I know everybody has schedule metrics. The ESPN has a model. I have I use a kind of my own kind of model that we do to gauge SEC, Big Ten, ACC schedule rankings. To me, it needs to be computerized on some level because the committee at least hasn't really shown that, hey, we're going to put, other than the Florida State debacle, that, hey, we're going to put a 9-3 team in over a 10-2 team.
Right.
Texas had a great argument last year. Now with a 9-game conference schedule, Texas has an even better argument. But to me, I preach this all the time. Here in Ohio, our high school football playoff system's pretty cool how they do it. They use a computer, but at Division I being the highest, 7 being the lowest. But if you're a Division 5 team and you beat a couple Division 2 teams, you can go 6-4 and get in the playoffs over an 8-2 team. And I think college football needs a mechanism to measure that. The SEC, for all of the, punches they've taken this week, I kind of agree with them on that one. I do think their strength of schedule isn't just perception. There's enough playoff caliber teams, programs in that conference that they can get away with that.
Yeah.
But how do we, it's apples and oranges because we're trying to measure something across 4 different leagues.
Hey, another reason I love talking season on the approaching college football season, more conversations with Bill Bender of Sporting News. I appreciate your time, sir. Enjoy the rest of your summer. It's right around the corner. We are basically a month away from kickoff, week 0, which I know they will eventually call week 1 because it makes so much more sense. Bill Bender at BillBender92 on Twitter. Thank you, sir.
Hey, anytime. Thanks for having me on.
We thank Bill Bender for his time. A couple more minutes. Let me ask you this question, Max. I was kind of thinking about this. I didn't want to bring it up with Bill because we're already running long. What if there was a schedule strength multiplier in college football where they actually made it matter?
Isn't that kind of what Lane Kiffin is advocating for?
Oh, I have no idea. I didn't listen. I didn't hear Lane Kiffin talk about
it. Not so much of a metric, but he was basically like, we need to get to a point where the committee can see this 9-3 team and say they're better than this 11-1 team because they played a harder schedule. I think
in some ways it is.
The nuance, I think, exists. Like, it may not be, and there are strength of schedule metrics, obviously, but
right, but they're not. They don't use them.
Yeah, I mean, it's all a matter of as long as they're picked not by a computer like the BCS, like there's going to be like human nuance and decisions that don't necessarily line up with the metrics.
I am not against the committee at all. I think the committee is important, to be honest, because I think we do need critical thinking. I think people need to open their minds, and I would be absolutely against a computer telling us who the best teams are, because we can see. I mean, I think most of us can see for our own eyes.
Well, they can create new schedule strength metrics, but again, like they can reference those kind of things already as it is, strength of schedule.
Right.
Obviously, they can see the results versus top, 25, top 10, whatever cutoff you want to make it already.
My point is that they don't, right? And this is I've been beating this drum forever, and I realize reality and what should be sometimes are not the same thing. But I will simply I'll keep doing it. I'll use Indiana as a reference point. I brought that up with Bill. 2 years ago, Indiana's conference schedule was horrific. I'm not joking. Go to Indiana's 2024 Big Ten schedule. Start at the bottom of the standings, work your way up. That's Indiana's schedule in the league. I think they played one good team and they lost the game, right? They played nobody out of conference. It didn't matter. It just didn't matter. I'm not saying they didn't belong in the playoff. I'm saying they didn't put themselves in a position to have a bad record because they had a really good team and obviously a great head coach. Would it have been different if they had played Michigan, Ohio State, Southern Cal, some of the other better schools, even though USC wasn't necessarily great? Would it have been different? Might have been. There's no penalty in college football for playing a crap schedule. Zero. Until we get a penalty for it. No, never mind. Max, thank you very much. Everybody should have a good weekend. We're here already. See you Monday.
Asheville to Wilmington, Boone to Durham. The